There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes.
A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend with weed is better. A friend with breasts and all the rest. A friend who's dressed in leather. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend who'll tease is better. Our thoughts compressed, which makes us blessed and makes for stormy weather. A friend in need's a friend indeed. My Japanese is better. And when she's pressed, she will undress. And then she's boxing clever. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend who bleeds is better. My friend confessed she passed the test. And we will never sever. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Pure morning, pure morning, pure morning, pure morning. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend who'll tease is better. Our thoughts compressed, which makes us blessed and makes for stormy weather. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend who bleeds is better. My friend confessed she passed the test, and we will never sever. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Pure morning, 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 pure morning. A friend in need's a friend indeed. My Japanese is better. And when she's pressed, she will undress. And then she's boxing clever. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend with weed is better. A friend with breasts and all the rest. A friend who's dressed in leather.
I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing, but there's a reason. I don't like Facebook, and I don't like the internet. The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
This is absolutely lit. This is lit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. Get up in here, lovers. It's a debate review kind of night. Oh, and it's one of my favorite type of debate reviews. It's an Andrew Wilson debate review we're doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now, unfortunately, this is going to make a lot of people sad, and it's not. I'm more sad about it than you are going to be, okay? Andrew Wilson was not able to smoke cigarettes during this debate. So, unfortunately, guys, as you know, our favorite part of doing an Andrew Wilson debate review is tracking the cigarettes, okay? That's like half the reason to do it. That's half the fun, is counting how many cigarettes he can smoke. Let's see, what's our highest we've been up to? Let me see here. This can't possibly be right. But we've got up to nine that we've counted. But normally, this is the small detail that changes everything here. This little factor is that a lot of the time we don't get all the way through the Q&A. So that's about at least a pack of cigarettes worth of time in a debate. So, yeah, I know I think I'm missing some of my banners on here, actually. I could be wrong, but yeah, anyway. So, no, he didn't smoke cigarettes during this debate. We will see, guys. So, this is interesting. As you know, we covered a long time ago, and it wasn't when it happened. We watched it together years after it happened. Or no, I think it was like a year after or something. I don't remember exactly, but when Andrew Wilson debated, what the fuck is the goddamn atheist guy's name? Matt Dillahunty. When Andrew Wilson debated Matt Dillahunty, and Matt Dillahunty ran out of the room like a scared child. It was so interesting, and I was intrigued to see how the debate went down. And Matt Dillahunty probably had no idea that he had the upper hand in the debate, because the debate was a live in-person debate. So Andrew Wilson could not smoke cigarettes. Okay? Matt Dillahunty, he lasted like 10 minutes into that debate, maybe 5 to 10 minutes into that debate. And little did he know, if he could have made it like 15 more minutes, Andrew Wilson would have been sweating for a cigarette. He probably would have tapped out and just left. So we like to see these in-person live debates where he's not allowed to smoke, and see if he's doing some gum or lozenges or what he's got going on. I have no idea. I haven't watched any of this debate at all. Well, I've seen a 2-minute clip that was posted on Twitter, and I was like, you know what? This might be interesting. And we love doing Andrew Wilson debate reviews. So let's check it out, guys. It's Andrew Wilson versus Owen Shroyer. What's it called? What was I going to say? I just realized I F something up here, but that's okay. Andrew Wilson versus Owen Shroyer, and it's about they're debating the performance of Trump so far in his, well, I'm assuming maybe they're going to grade him on his past presidency as well, but has the Trump presidency been a success? That is the topic for the debate. So this should get very interesting, guys. Now, you all know I do like Andrew Wilson. I think he's a smart dude. He's a very intelligent debater, and he's quick and whatever. But I'm interested to see how this goes down. I feel like it's harder and harder to support Donald Trump if you're, really kind of holding like true American values. And it's getting more and more difficult. They're bombing schools. He's tweeting pictures of himself as Jesus, as God himself. He's going on TV along with other members of his administration, top people of his administration, going on TV and telling people that you're not allowed to walk around with guns, even if you have a permit and stuff like that. It's like sort of like indefensible, insane bullshit. He's just like stirring shit up with Iran. The gas is like ridiculous. The gas is so expensive. We forgot about the Epstein files, guys. That's how expensive the gas is now. So, it's just like it's getting interesting for the MAGA people here. So we'll see how he does here. Now, I do know Andrew Wilson. One of the other things that I do disagree with him a lot on is the fact that he seems to be a proponent of the Fed slop theory of the Charlie Kirk incident at Utah Valley University. So that's also a big disappointment. So normally, and if in this kind of situation, I guess it would always depend on the topic, but I'm almost hoping that Owen really pulls through on this. Now, the clip I did see seemed to show Owen doing a fairly good job of pushing back against Andrew. And really, guys, if we're being real, Owen isn't a complete retard or something, but like Andrew Wilson's a really good debater. Owen Shroyer did a not so great job against Destiny. And we reviewed that debate on here too. We watched Owen versus Destiny and reviewed that on here. It wasn't so great, guys. So, that's not a good sign. I feel like Andrew and Destiny are sort of like matched, but on either side of the political spectrum, opposing sides. But so if you're having trouble, if you did really, really not great against Destiny, it's not a great sign if you're going up against Andrew Wilson. So he's got the cards stacked against him here, but we'll see. In terms of actual data points and stuff, I don't think he does. It's just a matter of him being able to articulate stuff. So let me get to the chat, say hello to everybody getting in here, and we'll get started in about 2 minutes, 2 to 4 minutes. Let me get rid of this fucking banner. We got no cigarettes tonight, guys. He's not smoking tonight. What are we going to do? Fucking twiddle our thumbs? Just jerk each other off all night? All right, hold on. Let me get chats up on the page. Here we go. You covered my parody award. You guys mean more to me than that, okay? Chat's up. Butter knives in the chat first. Free prostate milking for you. We're bringing it back. Free prostate milkings for everybody. And don't forget, we're going to do some kind of award at the end of the year. I'm going to give you a Scrub Daddy fleshlight. You guys know I'm the creator of the Scrub Daddy fleshlight, okay? Top chatter of the year we're going to do at the end of the year is going to get a free Scrub Daddy fleshlight. Kenny Powers is up in the chat. What's up, Kenny? Thank God we got a mod. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Hutch is up in here. Maddie P's up in here. We got another mod. Thank God. We got a third mod. We need about 10 times as many mods. Promos in here. Lover, welcome. Bob Coke Can Cannabis Cookie Cook. Welcome, sir. Irwin's up in here. Lovers, friends, eat more coleslaw. What's up, guys? How's it going? What's up? Scott Starber's up in here. Smash the love button. It's shaped like this. Thank you, Scott. I need that. By the way, guys, subscribe to Scott Starbird's stream. He streams before me. Go check out his channel over there. Sub and join us in the chat over there. We get a little, crazy. I was gonna say kinky, but really we save the kinky stuff for this stream. If we're being real, I don't want to put that on Scott Starbird. Give him that reputation if he doesn't want it. We welcome that here. Tiff Wash is up in here. What's up, Tiff? I didn't buy enough cigs for... Bro, he's not smoking tonight. What are we going to do, guys? I can't believe that. You know what? I don't think I'm going to cover another one of these Andrew Wilson live debates. Let's see. If he starts coming unglued because he can't have a cigarette, it might be funny. Scott Starbird said, this is the first time I've ever seen Andrew Wilson lose a debate. Dude, if Andrew Wilson loses to Owen Shroyer, look, the clip I saw wasn't great. It definitely, listen, I don't know if we should consciously do this, guys, but it's like I can see myself sort of scoring this on a curve in a way, because Andrew Wilson is expected to absolutely annihilate Owen. Owen is not a debater, guys. He's He's a guy who knows interesting facts, and he's a good speaker. He's not a good debater, guys. He's just not. He's got the card stacked against him in terms of like skill for debate or whatever. But, yeah, dude. I mean, yeah. If Andrew loses to him, if it's objectively like looks bad for Andrew, that's like incredibly bad. But yeah, I was gonna say the clip I saw didn't. It looked about like Owen was winning the debate. If not, it was neck and neck. Like they were getting the same amount of applause and support. Owen maybe a little bit more, I think, in this clip. So that says a lot. If Owen is even kind of like seeming to keep up with Andrew, that's a lot. That's not good. It's not good for Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson should be going circles around him, you know? But like I said, guys, it's not easy to keep defending Trump and pretend nothing's wrong as the fucking whole place is burning down around you. DMS's oral fixation, IRL being projected onto Andrew Wilson. No, he projects his onto me, motherfucker. This guy smokes more cigarettes than I ever did. He smokes more cigarettes than I suck something. Never mind. Let's move on. I don't want to scare off any Andrew Wilson fans. Look, guys, I'm in character, by the way. I pretend to be gay online because I feel like because Google wants people to be gay and stuff. They want you to be trans and stuff. So they'll push me in the algos because I pretend to be gay on here. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if it hasn't really worked, but you know, we're still trying. Michael Earl, did I say hi to you yet? What's up, lover? Welcome. All right, guys, are we about to the bottom here? Fuck. Kirk Lover, did I already say hi to you? It's really sad, sickening when conservatives like Andrew Wilson want innocent women and children killed for simply living in Iran. Yeah, that's part of the clip that I saw. Yeah, we'll get to it, guys. Let's go. I'm about caught up here. Just making sure I see you guys are talking back and forth. I'm making sure I'm not missing anything crazy. Fat Pig's up in here. What's up, Fat Pig? _fat_pig. Welcome your pigness. Everybody, by the way, what's today? Tuesday. Oh, fuck. Yeah, and I missed your stream today, Pig, but I was super busy. Guys, my job's been so crazy. I've been so busy at work. But yeah, guys, catch the Pigpen Show, _fat_pig right here. Follow his channel. We're up in that chat some of the time, but I've been missing it because my job's been freaking crazy. Andrew Fontana said, Bubba brought you up today on the show. Really? Why? What did he say? You know what? I don't want to know. Don't even tell me. We're doing Andrew Wilson tonight. I'm really like, oh, Pig had no show today? All I get is heat from Bubba. I don't even want to entertain the. No one else has. I feel like this person's trolling. No one else has told me anything. I feel like someone else would have told me already. So anyway, let's move on. So let's get over to the deal. Oh, what's up, White Ice Tea? Welcome, sir. Good to see you. Black Power. Let's go over here. Okay, let's get this up. This should be fun. I got a bong halfway packed. Or is it halfway smoked? Let's get philosophical. Fuck, this is too. We're going to play this in 10x speed. We're going to get through this in about 15 minutes, guys.
Built-ins on.
Plot out. Oh, it's going to give us another ad? Give us a Scrub Daddy ad right now, or I'm going to lose my fucking shit.
In front of a public school, which had just turned into a refuge for children and their family who had to.
Let's go. All right, we are going to be having a.
Who's this twink?
a debate on whether the Trump administration has been successful. And tonight we have two very talented debaters with us. But before we get into that, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about Uncensored America. We're a free speech organization, 501c3 nonprofit on 13 college campuses now. So if you want to get involved with the U.S.
through his independent content and reporting, please join me in welcoming Owen Shroyer.
What's going on? We're going to have audio issues. Scott, did you watch this whole thing? Are there audio issues? Andrew Fontana, something about you being a cross-dresser or something. I'll have to listen back. Not trolling. Oh wow, sounds like really good content. Sounds like it was a really good show today.
For tonight's format, we will have 5-minute openings followed by 5-minute rebuttals, a crossfire section of 40 minutes followed by audience Q&A for 30 minutes, and then 3-minute closings. With that, I have the timer set for you. The affirmative going first. Andrew, the floor is all yours.
First and foremost, thanks all of you for being here. And before we do anything else...
Is Bubba getting me confused with Brent Hatley? I think Bubba is getting me confused with Brent Hatley. But if anything, that says more about Bubba's show. People that affiliate with his show end up being cross-dressers like me and Brent Hatley. I think that says more about Bubba's show than it says about me. Dude, I don't even know why he would even bring me up on his show. Who gives a fuck? Why does he talk about me? I think you would like Bubba's comment. Guys, why? Okay, we're moving on. I don't even, we're not talking about Bubba on here. Listen, seriously, guys, if we're being like for realsies, I don't want to hear any. I mean, if you say it in my chat, I'm not going to ban you. I'm not going to ban anybody for anything. You guys know the rules for the chat. It has nothing to do with talking shit to me. You can say whatever you want to me. But guys, I don't want to bring. I don't care to like cross contaminate our worlds any more than they already are. I don't care to. The people of his fan base, which is like 10 of you, that don't disassociate with me because of the lies that he's said about me, the 10 of you that can think for yourselves and know that I'm not like all the things Bubba says about me, you guys are here, okay? Bubba has completely ruined my name with every other one of his fans. I'm not interested in going over to that world. I'm not interested in being on his show. I'm not interested in doing songs for his show. His fans talk shit to me every day, and I like don't care to affiliate. I'm being so real. Like, he can talk all the shit he wants over there. Half of your fans are actual retards, and they could not. I'm hot like a chick. Yeah, so is he. Bubba's voluptuous. Okay, we're moving on. Half of your fans wouldn't even be able to keep up with this stream over here, and we are like purposely acting retarded over here. All right, let's go. No cigarettes tonight, guys.
We got the legend Owen Shroyer. Can we give him a good round of applause? That said, you're still going to get stomped. So, first and foremost, let me clear up any misrepresentation when it comes to my views. I am anti-Zionist and anti-Christian Zionist especially. I have done many debates on the topic, and I've won them all. I'm also very anti-Islam.
Based.
And consider the ideology just as poisonous as the ideology of Zionism, especially Christian Zionism. I am not a war supporter in Iran, and I never have been. I say this at the beginning of the debate, so when bad faith trolls who are on foreign accounts try to influence American politics in the comments, claiming that I'm in some way a Zionist, pro-Israel, pro-Islam shill, you can shatter the lies by simply showing them the beginning of this debate, which they won't even watch. And you and I can laugh at their stupidity together. That said, I also don't believe Jews or Arabs are ontologically.
Bro, what the fuck? For real, what is Andrew? What is he going to defend? What do you mean he's not pro-Zionist? He's not pro the war in Iran. What the fuck are you going to defend that Trump has done? You have no grounds anymore. Let's see where it goes, guys. I'm already starting to stop it too much.
Evil just because they are Jewish or Arabic. I represent a worldview, and I believe there are stupid and evil ideologies in this world, and those are the things I debate against and resist on a political level. Today, we debate if Trump has been successful as a president. Usually, I would clear this up semantically.
Andrew, dude, no, it's all good. Bro, it's all good. I'm having a little bit of fun, but for real, guys, no, Bubba, yeah, the ship has sailed, guys. The ship sailed. Let's move on. There's literally no reason to tell me. I don't watch that show anymore.
Quickly with Owen, but we seem to have the same general notion about what success means and doesn't mean, so we will just get right to the heart of the debate. I'd like to begin by pointing out that Trump stopping two different left-wing women from becoming president and being the first president who is a woman should immediately default him to the position of a successful president. As
come on.
Just that alone saved the nation from years of torment and suffering from the most insufferable vocal fried women the world has ever seen. That alone, I feel like, wins me the debate, but there's so much more. Starting on the pro-Christian side, office of faith, though I don't like who's in it, I like there's an office for it. Affirm via executive order there are two genders and revoke the idea of gender being different from sex. He signed an executive order stopping trans-surgical chemical alterations of children. He made Christmas Eve and the day after Christmas federal holidays affirming Christian beliefs.
Oh yeah, someone in the chat said his wife is debating right now. Yeah, I was gonna probably go over that tomorrow. Who was it? This might have been a new person. I've been all over the place looking back and forth. Who was up in the chat and said, just Hawks up in here. What's up, bro? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, you guys brought up fucking stupid BRN bullshit, and I missed an important comment.
As the ones we celebrate. He signed an executive order to eradicate anti-Christian bias in the government. He expanded school choice via executive order so we could remove our children from indoctrination center of atheists. He signed an executive order expanding Christian participation in adoption. He reinstated the Mexico City policy blocking U.S. tax dollars from promoting abortions in other nations. He enforced the Hyde Amendment to stop federal funding of abortions. He strengthened the conscientious protection for doctors and nurses who are against abortion. He supported religious charter schools. He directed the State Department to prioritize against Christian persecution abroad, just to name some of his policy directives. And that's just the Christian side. Domestically, his most major victory is something incredible. Net migration negative, more immigrants leaving than coming. Both legal and illegal, which was his primary function in office from the standpoint of voters. And this is one of the few Western nations where that is the case currently with limited exceptions. The Cato Institute, very pro-immigration, had to admit themselves that Trump has limited legal immigration, even more than illegal immigration, negating the base fear from his own base that he would stop illegal immigration, ramp up legal immigration. He hasn't. Over 130,000 less per month just on the legal side. Real wage growth is up 1.3% under Trump. It was negative under Biden. The federal workforce down 10%, which is excellent. Crime is down across the nation. Even Owen agrees with that. The Overton window has shifted right on most national conversations, including LGBTQ, transgender ideology. This isn't even getting...
The federal workforce is down? Yeah, didn't they fire the park workers and stuff? They fired the wrong employees, didn't they?
Into the historic court cases like Roe v. Wade and Chevron, which undid huge injustices in the United States. These are just some of Trump's accomplishments among many. I just can't list them all due to time. The idea of Owen Shroyer and many other anti-Trump right-wingers is accelerationism. The glaring logical hole, of course, in that is all that happens is Democrats get power, make life worse for everybody, and then they just run back to Republicans to fix everything the Democrats did and the entire time spent by Republicans cleaning up the mess that Democrats and leftists left for us. It doesn't work and can't work in a two-party system.
Yeah, they fired 1,000 national park workers. Was that trying to drain the swamp? Is that where all of our money's going, huh, guys? That's where all the waste and government fraud is the park employees. Good job, Trump.
Ensuring Democrat control by denouncing Trump and Republicans just assures a packed Supreme Court, outrageous censorship, mass migration, expansion of gay agenda, feminism, and the movement of an anti-Christian and anti-Christ-driven world. You guys seem to forget we had Biden. It was awful. And rather than continue his policies, people elected Trump en masse because life under Democrats is fucking awful. Now, you aren't going to get everything you want out of any administration. Trump is way too pro-feminist, pro-gay, and pro-Zionist for my personal liking, but we all knew that going in. He was still vastly superior to the alternative to Democrats and their cohorts, especially Harris, who wanted to roll back tax breaks and tax as an offset instead of tariffs, which is Democrat policy as usual. We knew Trump was pro-Israel. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem and tore up the Iran deal first time around. We knew this was part of what we were getting when we elected him, including Owen Shroyer, who, by the way, was put in solitary confinement by Democrats and held, in my opinion, as a political prisoner. That's what's in store for us under Democrats. I will cede no ground to Democrats under any circumstances, as there's no alternative. There's nothing. You cannot give Democrats power, period. And with that, I'll cede the rest of my time, but just note that progressive ideology is always waiting to strike, and going against Trump is not going to help against that fight.
Oh, Bob Cook. That's right. He got rid of the Biden IRS hires. I did hear that too. I appreciate that. I should have just not paid my taxes this year. Just see what happened.
Thank you very much for that opening. We'll kick it over to Owen for his opening as well.
Well, the premise of this debate is
Right now, let me tell you guys right now, just to let you in on the inner workings of the mind of a cigarette smoker, because I used to be one. Okay, right now, Andrew just finished his intro, and Owen is starting his intro. Right now, Andrew Wilson's just thinking about a cigarette right now. He's thinking about how it feels to light one up and take that first drag. He's thinking about the smell of it. He's thinking about the feeling of the filter being in between his lips right this very second. He can't hear a word that Owen is saying right now. He's not going to be able to pay attention to any of this. He can't concentrate. He can't think. He's just thinking about smoke, smoke, smoke.
has President Trump been successful or not? The premise is not, are the Democrats a bad political party? I think that we all agree with that. So that is not the premise of the debate. And I feel that the very fact that we are having this debate shows that there is at least room for consideration that the Trump administration has not been successful. And while you do list off things that Trump has been successful on, and I will give credit to this administration on securing the border and lowering crime rates, quickly on those issues, though, these are not things that we should have to beg for. These are not things that we should have to consider a success. These should be things that are considered a standard. So really, that's more of a story of how corrupt our country has become, which gets to what this administration was supposed to be all about. It was supposed to be addressing the corruption head on in that collision and destroying it in the process. And I think it's fair to say that at least to this point, it's not happening. But here's some of the other issues that I think are going to be more important when it comes to, is Trump going to be successful? The economy. The vast majority of Americans still believe the economy is heading in the wrong direction. We have more Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck.
Economy sucks. Yes, Double D's up in here. What's up, lover? Good to see you. You're driving, stay in between the lines. Stay out of the chat. If you're in this chat, you better be at a stoplight or you're banned.
Today than any other time in recent history. And as everybody is well aware, our national debt continues to go to record highs. But it's not just the country that's in debt. The average citizen is in debt. It's so bad now that people are having to take out payment plans for pizza delivery. Now, you might not want to blame all of that on President Trump, and perhaps that's fair, but yet this is the economy ongoing under President Trump. And it doesn't help when anytime there's another war on the other side of the planet, we have billions of dollars to spend on that while the average American continues to struggle. So the economy, I don't think you can claim has been a success. Tied into that is Doge.
We got money for Israel's healthcare too, don't we? That's good.
The Doge cuts. Elon Musk believed
I bet they can afford pizza.
You get $1 trillion in Doge cuts annually. We got a couple 10 million, and they stopped that. There's not going to be any Doge stimulus checks, whether you wanted that or not. So Doge getting cut out cold, I think, was a...
What crime? Andrew, what's your name? Fontana. Andrew Fontana. Oh, are you new, by the way? Have you been in this chat before? Welcome. What crime rate did Trump lower? I'm not sure. We can look this up. But I think, don't they say pretty much around the whole fucking planet, the crime rate's down? Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, this is the thing. They say crime is down. It started dropping in 2025 before Trump was in office. There's a sharp decrease in 2025. Estimated 20 to 21% drop from 2024. So yeah, it had nothing to do with Trump. And then it's still in a downward trend. But the trend, they're saying, began in like 2023.
Major failure. Barack Obama has deported more Americans than Donald Trump. Now, we might get into the details of that today. I will spare those details for the opening. I'm sure this will come back up, but yet that fact remains. What about the deep state? President Trump himself has posted about treasonous politicians more times than we can count. So if there's politicians that are treasonous and you are the president, then I have to ask, where are the arrests? That's kind of the biggest crime you can commit in this country, and yet nobody has been arrested. Don't even get me started on the Epstein clients, which are apparently a hoax one day, and then the next day Melania Trump is addressing the nation on how the victims of the hoax need to speak to Congress.
Yes.
So I'm not sure where we want to go with that, but either way, no deep state arrests. Where are all the Epstein pedophile arrests? We're not getting those.
You know what, guys? This might be going good for Owen. Based already good facts.
These are things that people anticipated, and yet there's no success there either. And by the way, as you mentioned, Trump's victory over the liberal women, which I think we'll all agree was a major victory. He was not the president when that happened. He's never won an election as president. Just thought I'd point that out. As far as the office of faith is concerned, it seems to be going about the same way of the Board of Peace. Nothing but vanity, no real results. You talk about the anti-Christian bias that they're fighting, yet look at who Trump is working with now. He's making sure that Karine Jean Bowler kicked off of the Religious Liberties Commission for her political takes. Yet Laura Loomer, who is a vehement anti-Muslim, anti-Catholic psychotic, somehow has the ear of President Trump. So I'm not sure if that's really working for the anti-Christian. Wage growth, that's going to be an interesting one. I'm sure we're going to get more into that. But I think it goes back to the general economic picture that whether it's Trump or anybody else, Americans are still struggling. And I think if we be honest here, if we're going to be honest, a lot of this economy is actually Trump's fault. And I know he likes to blame it on Biden. But if you go back and look at it, it was the COVID economy that caused the permanent damage. It was the COVID economy that resulted in 10 to 15 to 20% inflation. Those are Trump's policies. Now, Biden was obviously a disaster. I'm not here
to... Andrew Fontana, I haven't seen your YouTube until the Seth tobacco. You mean debacle or tabernacle? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for coming to check out the stream. I appreciate it. Yeah, the Seth deal. I don't know, guys. What are the chances Seth comes back in like, what if he's back in a month or something? That'd be pretty funny, wouldn't it?
Promote anything Biden did, but that was the Trump economy. The COVID economy is the Trump economy. Now, as far as accelerationism is concerned, I don't believe
they're just right now. Seth is just sitting back, taking notes on everybody that talks shit about him, and he's going to be back in a month. He's going to absolutely roast all of you.
I have ever publicly supported that. I do understand the concept. I understand why people like it. I'm not here because I want Democrats to win. And I think this is a very important statement for me to make because much like in your opening statement, you wanted to clarify some things that people get wrong about you. I want to clarify this. I do not want Democrats to win. As has already been documented in this debate, Democrats have put me in prison. In fact, I was put in jail 4 times for supporting President Trump, including the last one when I was put in solitary confinement. So believe me, I know how dangerous the Democrats are. The problem...
They threw his ass in jail. You said 0% chance that happens, White Ice Tea? You guys don't know. You guys don't know nothing. It's all a work.
It's not up to me. This is Trump. If Trump cannot get the Republicans over the finish line in the midterms, that has nothing to do with podcasters. It has nothing to do with accelerationists, and it has everything to do with President Trump and the GOP. And
no, it's Candace Owens' fault. It's Candace Owens. If the Democrats win the primaries, it's because of Candace Owens. It's not anything Trump ever did. He's never made a mistake ever.
Ultimately, that's going to be the major measuring stick as to whether or not he's successful.
Thank you very much for that 5-minute opening as well. We'll jump into the 5-minute rebuttals. The timer is set for you, Andrew.
Yeah, so this is just straight time, right?
You said straight time?
Yeah, so 5 minutes each?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
No, this is gay time. You have to kiss Owen.
Let's go through a bunch of this stuff. Let's start with the economy. He seems to be pretty upset about the economy and says that it's all Trump's fault. In some ways, he's correct, and in many ways, he's not correct. So progressives warned us of this, right? Progressives said, if you cut all this immigration, GDP go down. Why? Because they have an influx of cheap labor, right? You have cheap labor that comes in that artificially keeps the wages depressed for corporations. They can then sell you things and goods for cheaper. Pretty simple, right? So what does Trump do? Stops all this mass migration. Prices go up. I'm stunned.
This is the game changer that everybody have been asking for.
So basically this big button right here in the middle
is Andrew Wilson about to pretend that bro, is Andrew Wilson about to say that because we don't have more Mexicans pouring over the border, that is the sole reason that prices have gone up? This has nothing to do with the fucking bullshit in Iran and the way Donald Trump is just absolutely throwing our tax dollars around and printing free money. And guys, it's all, it's because he's doing the right. Prices are up because Donald Trump is doing all the right things, guys. It's expensive to run the country the right way.
We were forewarned of this for years by the opposite side, by progressives. And so what's hilarious about this is that, yeah, it is in fact going to be the case that if American companies have to start paying fair wages to American citizens, prices are going to go up. But you can't have a cake and eat it too, Owen. You can't say, I want there to be no mass migration to the United States at all, and I want all my goods and services cheap. It's not going to work that way. How can it? Can you explain to the audience what the Owen Shroyer policy would be to offset that? No, you can't, because you wouldn't have one. You're going to have to eat shit on that. One way or the other, you're going to have to. The other problem is he says there's a war on the other side of the planet. That's true.
Hold on a second. Let me back this up. Eat shit on what? I want to see who's eating shit and why. I was reading the chat. And by the way, welcome. Who is this? I think it's a new person too. The Get Money 365. What up, bro? I voted for Trump every time, but he has bent over to Israel. Dude, same. Saying Trump hasn't done anything wrong is wild. Yeah, I was joking. I was totally kidding. This person, I think, already left. God damn it. I was joking. Guys, you can't tell I was new people in here can't tell I'm joking. Steve is Trump bashing. Some people in here thought I was being serious. Jesus Christ. I can't win. Oh, fuck. The people in here that are prone to supporting Trump left because they knew I was talking shit about Trump. And the people that are new here that thought I was blindly supporting Trump also left because they didn't know I was joking. I hate streaming.
In fact, going to be the case that if American companies have to start paying fair wages to American citizens, prices are going to go up. But you can't have a cake and eat it too, Owen. You can't say, I want there to be no mass migration to the United States at all, and I want all my goods and services cheap. It's not going to work that way. How can it? Can you explain to the audience what the Owen Shroyer policy would be to offset that? No, you can't, because you wouldn't have one. You're going to have to eat shit on that. One way or the other, you're going to have to.
Dude, this is such a false... Okay, the way he's setting this up is such bullshit. Hello? Donald Trump said he was going to bring the prices down of everything. Should Donald Trump have maybe thought, well, I'm going to stop immigration and kick out all of the free labor and bring the prices down? Sorry, Donald Trump said he was going to do all those things. Sorry, we're disappointed because Donald Trump said he would do those things. And he's barely stopped immigration and kicked people out, deported. He's barely done those two things, and now prices are skyrocketing. And Andrew Wilson's like, oh, it's just because he's doing such a good job with immigration. What a fucking joke.
The other problem is he says there's a war on the other side of the planet. That's true. There is. It's been going on for about 7 weeks. That's about it. 7 weeks. So that's our big, hang on, it's my rebuttal time. I won't interrupt yours, I promise. 7 weeks, not quite the forever war that we were promised from the other side. And it seems to be ramping down. Not only that, when it comes to that war, what we find is that most of the exports of oil are going from China. They're going to China. How does it not behoove the United States strategically to do something about that? Of course it does. And we can dive into that too in the open back and forth. Now, I'm not a big supporter of foreign wars, especially not in Iran. I'm not making any excuses for it. I'm just pointing out something which is obvious. He also says Elon Musk did Doge cuts. Were Democrats going to do Doge cuts? No. Trump made that promise, and that's exactly what they tried to do. He's been hamstrung at every level. This guy has 3 times the amount of court cases against him as any other president does in the last 50 years. It's ridiculous. Democrats hamstring him at every corner. So as we go through this, let's talk about Epstein. That's another big one. With Epstein, you have to separate mythology, the actual mythology of Epstein, from the facts of Epstein.
No, you don't. You know why we don't, guys? You know why we don't? Is because Donald Trump ran on releasing the Epstein files. L for Andrew Wilson. L. He's losing this debate. To me. He's losing the debate to me.
Side tell it, there's a global pedophilic satanic organization which runs the United States. The evidence they have for that? Fucking nothing. They have nothing. They have no evidence whatsoever. Guarantee you he won't be able to provide us.
Oh, I guess Donald Trump shouldn't have campaigned on that then, huh? That's interesting, Andrew. Yeah, it's all bullshit, isn't it? I guess since the Epstein mythology is all bullshit, Donald Trump shouldn't have ran on that, should he? Yeah, that would have been a good idea to keep your big fucking orange mouth shut instead of getting everybody hyped up, getting everybody foaming at the mouth for the names in these files, pretending you're going to give everybody all the data, and then after you get elected, tell everyone they're retarded for believing it and that it's a Democrat hoax that you promoted.
With any evidence for that? Not a single shred. Not only that, I'll tell you something really interesting. I do know of a satanic type religion of pedophiles, and right this second, Trump's blowing them up. Right this second, as we speak, he blew up their leadership. The Ayatollah Khomeini instituted marriage, child marriage, as young as 9 years old inside of Iran. And we're killing them overwhelming. You want to talk about pedophiles? Let's talk about pedophiles. Where are they at? I can tell you who we're blowing up right now who are pedophiles. That would be Trump blowing up pedophiles. That's what he's doing currently. So it's really funny to me, the Epstein people, hey, wait a second, we're totally anti-pedophile. This is ridiculous. There's pedophiles at the top levels. They have no evidence for that. And yet if we just look not too far away, we see that there's an entire nation of pedophiles. Do you mind doing trade with them? Right? Owen Shroyer recently said, I don't care why, or he said in his debate with Shabos, why is it that Iran is not allowed to have a nuke, but Israel is? What are you advocating for there? That a whole country full of pedophiles is allowed to have a nuclear bomb? Why should we allow that? It's ridiculous. Moving through some of these other problems, he says the problems Republicans podcasting means nothing. When we're talking about Trump, especially in his second term, podcast meant everything. In fact, Kamala Harris said it herself. Joe Rogan, and the fact that Trump went on Joe Rogan really helped push him over the top. Harris regretted the fact she didn't do the podcast syndicated radio shows. He didn't do podcast circuit. She didn't do any of that. She regretted it. She said that she regretted it. She even blamed Myron Gaines, a podcaster, for parts of her loss. She blamed him and the evil manosphere, because they don't want women to be president, like somebody else who's on stage right now. So as we go through this, I'm kind of happy. I'd like to get into the back and forth as quick as we can so that we can see if any of these criticisms actually hold muster. He says he's not addressing corruption. Yeah, he's not addressing corruption head on. It's like, wait a second. What do you mean? He's going after the SPLC right this second. As we speak, super corrupt organization, which was working with the deep state, by the way, just pointing that out.
With that, we'll kick it over to Owen for his 5-minute rebuttal as well. Or is all yours, Owen?
All right. Well,
as far as when this war started, obviously there's a lot of contention in the geopolitical debate realm, but at least for this administration, it started last June with Operation Midnight Hammer. And since then, we haven't gotten a lick of honesty because we were supposed to have annihilated or obliterated, was the official word from the president, their nuclear capabilities. And then they came back a few months later and said Iran was weeks away, days away from a nuke. And so now we're over there again. And I think to most people, they perceive this war, I think accurately, as just another regime change war. Now, you may not care for Iran's leadership. You're not going to get any pushback from me on any of that. And yet the facts remain. This was a regime change war. They lied to us about it from the very beginning. There is a major contingency of Trump's voting base that voted for no new wars. It was part of the campaign promise. In fact, Trump himself, for decades, has been talking about how we've wasted blood and treasure in the Middle East, wasted it, his own words. He ran against Bush's wars in his first campaign in 2015 and 2016.
You know, guys, I'm like I said, the only bit of this debate that I caught before pulling this up tonight was the one little like 2-minute clip. You know, it seems like we'll see how this goes, but Andrew Wilson's just gonna daddy Trump this whole fucking thing. He's gonna daddy Trump the whole debate. Like, no, he's doing the right thing. He's doing, yeah, you don't like what he's doing, but it's the right thing and it's hard. And you know what? He's just doing what we got to do. It's just, this is sickening.
And he even said specifically, no more regime change wars. So that's just a total reversal of policy on that. And this has people wondering who's making these decisions. I don't need to get into that now, but we're not even getting consistency on the messaging in the last couple of weeks. The strait is closed. It's not closed. We've won the war. The war's not over. We need to go in. Nobody really knows. And by the way, I think Trump does that strategically. But nonetheless, the truth is that we don't get any honesty from this administration. It just doesn't add up. And as far as the strategy with China and Russia, I'd like to think that this is all going to work out in our favor. I'd like to think that that's the play that Trump is making. However, it doesn't appear to be going in our favor. I think that most of the world is looking at the foreign policy of this administration, and they're seeing it as very, very favorable to Israel, which is essentially a pariah of the entire international community. And so instead of perhaps these countries maybe driving away from Russia and China, I think they're driving to China and Russia and away from the United States because of Trump's aggression again in the Middle East, as the world views it on behalf of Israel. As far as the Dems, hamstringing Trump, I think that happened a lot in the first administration. I'm not really seeing as much of it in this administration, but this gets back to the deep state. I thought we were talking about criminals. I thought we were talking about the Obama administration committing treason. We were talking about them illegally spying. And yet now President Trump says, I'm okay to give up my liberties for safety. I'm okay with them illegally spying on you. That doesn't really sit well with me. And I think the Dems are going to look at that very favorably when we get to the midterm.
Emor Coleslaw. Emor said, you never hear about the evil Ayatollah of Eritrea or Liberia or Somalia. No one in America has ever even heard the term Ayatollah. The only Ayatollah that Americans know of is the Ayatollah of rock and roll. That's the only one they've ever heard of. Buzzer Bob's ass up in here. What's up, bro? Damn it, son. You're pissing me off. Hell, I need to take an extra blood pressure medication from that bonehead comment. Oh, R.I.P. Buzzard Bob.
Israel does have a nuke. It is it's a violation of the nuclear proliferation agreement. They're not supposed to have one. Everybody knows they have it. In fact, technically, they shouldn't even be our ally because they have a nuclear weapon, but somehow they're above all of these rules. Now, again, I'm not here to take any ground in defense of Iran, but I will point out the fact that Israel is famous for repatriating pedophiles. That is a fact. Everybody knows it. American pedophiles. Woo! American pedophiles are able to flee to Israel and get safe harbor there. We have many, many instances of this. Now, the Epstein files.
Damn. Bro. Owen. Based Owen Shroyer. Dear God. I mean. Dude, is Owen Shroyer gonna seriously clutch this?
I don't know how deep we want to go into this. This one is a little confusing to me. You say, show me evidence that there is a pedophile ring. Well, I would slap down on the table, not even 50% of the Epstein files. We don't even know how many we've gotten, but it's 50% max. There's not a single Iranian in the files, not a single one. Now, there is a certain group.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. There's people. It's a lot of people from a different country all up in them files. Let me tell you. Well,
they're in there, but we don't need to get into that. But they all are rich, and they're not in prison, and that's where they should be. So,
guys, and this is the funny thing is to do a false comparison. Brent Cantrell, Andrew Wilson, the shill. Dude, it seems like it, and I hate to think that. I respect Andrew Wilson. I like a lot of his debates, bro. We review a lot of his stuff on here. I actually respect the man, but it's so shill-like. This whole thing just seems like he's just aiming to try to get like a fucking interview with some fucking retard in the Trump administration. I have no idea what the fuck. He's really it's funny because he's not shilling so hard that it's like embarrassingly obvious. He's doing the Andrew Wilson style super philosophical shill. And it's like, it's subtle, but it's fucking horseshit. And what I was going to point out, he's doing the false comparison. Andrew Wilson did this before, and I like that that Owen brought this back up. Andrew Wilson, he said, you know what, Donald Trump didn't take down a fictitious, a mythological ring of chomos from those files you guys keep talking about. But you know what a satanic ring of chomos he's taken out is Iran. Dude, it's okay. Can we listen? I don't like their culture over there. I don't agree with the child marriage stuff and whatever. But can we all, they're practicing, they are seriously practicing a Stone Age religion and still sort of like living it. Okay? Human beings for all throughout human history were like, I hate to say it, but chomos. Guys, people only, if you listen to science, or it depends, there's some people that probably think it's that the Bible is real and people live for 900 fucking years or something. I don't know, but according to science, you could say people lived to 40 would be really fucking old. If you lived into your late 20s, you lived a full life. And this was supposedly the case for thousands of years or something, and possibly millions, right? If you're talking about from when we were, you could argue, first recognizable as anatomically modern humans to now, people barely lived into their 20s. Of course, people were banging when they were 12 and stuff, of course. But, and I'm not excusing what's going on over there. I'm just saying, what they are practicing, it's at least like marriage. It's at least in an ideal. It involves love and procreation, and building a family. Can we I know we don't agree with what they're doing over there, but can we at least, just to shut Andrew Wilson's bullshit comparison down, can we at least acknowledge that is different and definitely not as bad as what is alleged to have happened in this group of fucking disgusting pieces of shit that are listed in those goddamn files? Can we acknowledge that is not even a fair comparison and that is complete bullshit? Andrew Wilson's just trying to score points here. You're going to pretend that some Muslims marrying child brides is as bad as what's claimed to have happened in those files. People being used as baby factories and then getting buried in the fucking New Mexico desert. That's totally the same, guys. That's totally comparable.
I don't really want to have to think about Iran's cultural issues. These are Americans and people that were using them for blackmail to get leverage over our country. That's how most people...
Allegedly, they pulled kids' teeth out. No, but that's totally comparable to child marriage in Iran. Yeah, guys, it's the same thing. Thank God Trump bombed that school.
Perceive these Epstein files, of which we don't even have the entire files. But in them, we see references, what appear to be killing people, taking women, young women, babies as sex slaves. Who knows what else is going on in these files? There's very obvious code language. I know this. If I was able to get one of my kids' cell phones, and I'm reading through the cell phone, and they keep talking about pizza and grape soda and jerky, I'm going to pull one of them aside, and I'm going to say, hey, what are you talking about? And if they say, oh, I'm just a pizza connoisseur. Me and my friends just make beef jerky and eat grape soda. I'm going to say, bullshit. Tell me what the hell you're talking about. If I see you saying, I'm going to get pot for my friend, I know you're not talking about a potted plant. I know you're talking about drugs. So it's obvious the same thing is going on in these emails. Where is the investigation? If your kid...
Dude, yeah, this is a good point. But for people to say that, it's a stretch or a reach with this jerky, pizza, grape soda stuff. It's just so embarrassing. Like any fucking narcotics agent will tell you that that's not just so easily a dismissible a claim or a set of evidence to have weird coded language. They fucking use that all the time in court. They establish when they'll have somebody text somebody about whatever, and then whatever code language that they use to text you back, they'll have like someone who's an informant go and buy weed from you or coke or whatever, and if you use those terminology to make a deal over the phone, and then they go and buy the coke from you, they can extrapolate back in your phone records all the deals that you've been making because you use the same coded language throughout these other text messages that you used with the informant. This is like real simple stuff, guys.
They brought that to you. You would not believe them for 1 second. You'd say this is clearly code language, and I'm going to investigate what it is. I think we should continue to investigate these Epstein files instead of continuing to cover them up, because I do think there is a there, as most other Americans do, and that's something that Trump campaigned on, and many of his administration talked about for years.
Based Owen Shroyer.
We're going to jump into the crossfire. This is 40 minutes, so this is fully up to you guys. If it gets too rocky, I'm going to jump in and put it into 90-second responses. So the floor is yours, gentlemen, for open dialogue.
Let them fight! I want to see blood.
I wanted to start, if we could, with Israeli repatriation of pedophiles. So you and I both agree that this happens and it's abhorrent. Do you know that what the numbers are, roughly? The last story I read was a CBS story. It was a couple dozen, I think. I think the total that I could find, as being as charitable to your views as I could, is about 200. That's a lot. It's a significant amount. But it's nothing in comparison to the Catholic Church. Nothing. Which is somewhere around 100,000 children, perhaps, or more. When we talk about this idea of pedophilia here in the United States, Owen, this is my big issue with this, is that there's always a red herring, right? The red herring is, well, Israel repatriates pedophiles. It's like, yeah, that's true. So does the United States in a way, though. We have passport bros who go to Malaysia, they have sex with underage kids, and then they come back here. It's the same exact principle applied. The only difference is there's no official right of return. There doesn't need to be. They're already U.S. citizens. But when we're talking about this, we know where the groups of pedophiles are. We've known this for years. The Catholic Church, for instance, again, part of one of the largest pedophilic scandals in the world. Which church do you belong to again? Is it Catholic? I have no qualms with what you're saying about the Catholic Church, whether I identify as one or not. So go ahead. I will sit here all day as a confirmed Catholic and ridicule their pedophilia. Yeah, I'm just saying that when you use the red herring of the Israeli repatriation. How is it a red herring if it's true? Because the red herring happens when you say, hey, wait a second. Yeah, hundreds. So it's a real thing. So it's not a red herring. No, the red herring portion of it is we obfuscate away from the arguments on the Epstein files as though there's a global cabal of pedophiles. I point out in Iran, there's an open cabal of pedophiles. You say, well, Israel harbors pedophiles too. It's like, no, they don't have official policy for pedophilia, dude. They don't. You just admitted you're talking about people that have been actually charged with crimes of pedophilia that Israel knowingly takes in. So they are very well. Not in every instance. So they are very well. Sometimes it's suspected. One of the big key ones was an Australian case, which you're familiar with. That was one of the big key ones, but it's not always the case that they're charged with anything. Lots of them are just suspected of this. There was just an IDF security official, Alexandrovich, who just got charged, caught in a bust, and he fled over there. He's gone. Of course, but you're so give me a comparable story this year. You can find the same thing. Show me the Catholic Church. Show me the Catholic Church finding a pedophile and saying, "Come to the Catholic Church." They moved them to other churches. What are you talking about? So allow them to continue to offend hundreds of thousands of cases. So show me one name. I'm supposed to remember every name of every. I just gave you.
Oh man, you know what, guys? This is why sometimes it's a little harder to sleep at night. I got nobody to pray to, okay? I wouldn't say I'm an atheist, but it's like I don't practice an organized religion per se. So, one downside to that is that when I go to bed at night, I don't sit there and pray. I don't have like somebody to just like talk to, pray to, say, hey, you know what? This one problem I'm having, it really sucks. God, can you kind of like take care of that? I promise I'll be cool tomorrow. I'll be good. And I'll be nice to my cat. I won't kick my cat anymore or whatever. I don't have that. Okay. But one upside to it is that I have no problem calling all these religions a bunch of fucking satanic chomos. Okay. You know what? Because you all got some problems, bro. And it's a shame that Owen's put in a tough spot here. And it's not really, because no one has any reason to think Owen's a chomo or would defend that or whatever. But it's like, dude, why even? I don't understand it. Why even affiliate with that? Jesus Christ! Like, can't you just like be philosophical? Just be like think there's a God, but don't associate with some religion that's got some real major problems. I mean, is it really that hard?
One name in the last year. Tom Alexandrovich, IDF security official, the Catholic Church doesn't move around pedophiles. No, I just said they do. I can talk about the Catholic Church all day long. But we're talking about the Trump administration dealing with the Epstein files. That's what we're talking about. So as we're diving into the Epstein files, give me your biggest piece of proof that Donald Trump in any way knew about any pedophilia, and name actual names of people who you're willing to say are pedophiles in that administration. Go ahead. Okay, I never made either one of those claims.
Exactly. Well, he campaigned on it. He said there's a lot of nasty stuff that went on that island, and all the people that are listed in it, and it's Democrats in there, and he said all this stuff. Andrew Wilson is just really doesn't have a good memory, or he's being completely dishonest. So it's one of the two.
But I will respond to your question. Howard Lutnick lied when he said he hadn't been to the island since he found out. He got caught lying. He took his family there. This was after Epstein had already been a convicted pedophile. Now, if Donald Trump wants to claim he has plausible deniability as far as Epstein's activities are concerned, I suppose that's fair. Are you even claiming that guy's a pedophile? Well, you know what? If you want to talk about the things Trump has said about his daughter, we can talk about it. We can talk about Donald Trump. Hold on a second.
Are you going to call that guy a pedophile?
Have I called Trump a pedophile once?
Well, this is why I'm getting clarification.
The answer is no.
The reason I'm getting clarification is because on the Epstein files, people refuse to separate mythology from fact. And there's a lot of mythology here. And this mythology that you guys continuously talk about, that Trump is in some way associated with this global cabal of satanic pedophiles, but you never name names, you never give evidence. Your only evidence is they don't give us evidence. Why would you trust the evidence that these people give you anyway? Why would you even trust that anyway? You don't trust them, the evidence that they've given you so far. So why is it always the demand is like, I want endless evidence of a thing that we always make claims about, but can never demonstrate? Why? So Trump is obviously...
You see, this is the thing. This isn't a completely unfair point that Andrew's bringing up here. And this is the problem that we're sort of in now, guys. But like, Truth's up in here. What's up, Truth? Good to see you. What's up? Welcome, welcome. This is sort of the problem that we're dealing with now is, but this isn't like, like a inevitable problem. Like Andrew Wilson's setting this up to be. He's basically saying, like, you guys are so paranoid, you don't trust anything that the feds put out anyway. You wouldn't believe this, you know, even if they gave you everything. That, I don't think that is true. See, guys, we're all, like I said, we're having facts held from us. We're all going off of vibes to an extent. Everybody that acts like they're making all these choices based on, like, irrefutable facts, it's just like complete horseshit. Vibes do a lot can be said for vibes and making decision off of vibes, and that is I'm being completely unironic when I say that. Had Donald Trump come in as president and been right off the cuff, and the whole you guys remember every time, like, leading up to it, he campaigned on it, guys. He talked about wanting to release the files and that there was bad stuff that happened on that island and this and that. And the whole thing flipped when he got in. There's a reason that, and it's not just, oh, they didn't give us all the files. That's part of it. It's the whole vibe. It's the whole vibe. He got in there and started acting like, oh, what? You guys really want to see these files? That was just a crazy story the Democrats made up. Bullshit, dude. Bullshit. That might be the case. The problem is you campaigned on it. That's the fucking problem. Don't fucking blame it on us. Thank you.
Maybe mentioned more than anyone else in the files. If you want to claim that he has nothing to show illegal in the files, that's fine. Howard Lutnick, however, lied when he said he hadn't been there. He is still in the Trump administration. He was just running point for their meeting at the Oval Office.
More vibes, guys. More vibes. Howard Lutnick, who also had one of the businesses in the Twin Towers, also one of the people that didn't show up that day to work, even though he was there at the office, like every day, had some random excuse to not be at work that day, some random reason. And then also temporarily withheld the final paychecks from the deceased employees' family members. Finally did pay them out, and then fake cried on TV 2 times. That Howard Lutnick, yes, he lied and told everybody he met Epstein 1 time living next to him for like 10 fucking years. And then it turned out through the files getting released, this fucking motherfucker that was laughing and giggling every time someone brought the files up to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump had to respond to it, and Howard Lutnick would just go like that. Yeah, he lied. It turns out he took his kids to the island after Epstein had been convicted. Yes, guys, it's vibes. Donald Trump is in the White House now, completely flipped the script on the files, and he's surrounded by complete dirtbags who are listed in there. Yes, guys, big problem. Big problem, Andrew. I know you want to just like, if you just kind of go like this and like this, you there's no problem. I get it. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right, bro.
Just last week, and he's in the files taking his kids to Epstein Island. So would you take your kids to Epstein Island? Well, okay, so are you saying at the time there was media scrutiny that this was a pedophilic island?
Yes, 100%. 100%. Epstein had already been charged. He'd already been in jail.
Are you saying this guy took his kids to the island to get him raped?
I don't know when he took his kids to the island.
He denied it.
He
By the
denied
way,
it.
again,
Andrew Wilson, you're such a dirtbag. He's not saying that he took the kids there to get butt fucked by Epstein. That's a possibility. Do you understand why that's a problem? That's a possibility. That someone who is Donald Trump's right-hand man currently could have possibly taken his kids to that island to get butt fucked by Jeffrey Epstein. He lied about it. That's the point. Is Donald Trump surrounded by dirtbags lying about how much they're associated with Epstein because they know he's a fucking disgusting piece of shit.
the way,
He did not.
this again
He
is
lied.
absence of evidence means that that's evidence. That's not evidence.
No. Did Howard Lutnick go to the island?
I'm not sure.
He admitted it. He's in the files. He took his kids.
I'm not sure on that.
There's pictures of him. I'm losing my headphones. There's pictures of him on the island. Andrew Wilson is literally just ignorant or pretending to be dumb. He is literally ignorant about the files. He doesn't know there's pictures of Howard Lutnick with his kids. You can see the kids, Howard and Epstein in the photo. He literally is pretending he doesn't know. Andrew lost one. Dude, I am actually stunned. I didn't know that it would go down like this. I didn't know. This is actually crazy.
Particular, but it's irrelevant, the particular, because even if I grant the particular, you won't actually call the guy pedo because you don't have evidence. You never have evidence, just claims. Claim, no evidence for it. Now, I'm willing to cede a bunch of points to you. If you can show me some evidence of it, happy to do it.
So
Trump was saying,
evidence that Howard Lutnick lied about his association with Epstein is the fact that he's in the files having been to the island, both proven by emails about him going and planning and having been there, talking about having been there in the files, and then also pictures of him and his kids on the island with Epstein in the same picture. That is evidence. Dude, what is going on right now? Andrew Wilson is trying so hard to split hairs on this. This is pathetic.
Trump was actually right. He claimed that the Democrats were going to use the talking point that, Trump's a pedophile, Trump's covering for pedophiles, the whole 9 yards. He says, yeah, that's a hoax. Whole thing's a damn hoax. And it is. The whole damn thing is a hoax. They've been calling this guy a pedophile. You just said he's named how many times is he named in the Epstein files? That's a Democrat talking point. But what's he named in the Epstein files for actually doing? What?
Well, there are FBI investigations that have some pretty serious claims. They never
not credible.
Anything.
They literally say not credible.
So we're not here to have a debate over the Epstein files. But
you brought it up.
I do find it odd. No, you are the one that brought it up. But I do find it odd that you're going to pretend like Howard Lutnick didn't lie about going to the island after Epstein was convicted.
I'll even see the point.
Are you going to tell me? Hold on a second. Are you going to tell me that Donald Trump was not friends with Jeffrey Epstein?
He was initially friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
So he
also banned him from his properties.
That's fine, and he might have helped him.
He banned him from his properties, and he was.
And it's also listed in the files that Donald Trump was at Epstein's house at Thanksgiving with Ivanka Trump, or Melania, not Ivanka, Melania. He was at Epstein's with Melania on Thanksgiving after Epstein was convicted, and they had their little falling out, and Trump has never responded to any kind of proof of that not being true.
Also front and center at pointing out to people that Epstein was a creep. That's one. And two, everything that's mentioned in the files, Michael Tracy has done great work on this. He's gone through them ad nauseum. So the things which are put in there about Trump are ridiculous on their face. And claims from various people about Trump are noted inside of these files most of the time as being not credible at all.
Here's what's credible. Alex Acosta is the one that cut Jeffrey Epstein his sweetheart deal. It was
thank you. Based. Here we go. Alex Acosta cut Jeffrey Epstein the sweetheart deal. Now is part of the Trump administration. Go.
So bad of a deal that they had to re-examine it and rearrest Jeffrey Epstein and put him back in jail in New York City.
Which administration did that happen under?
Where he was ultimately killed.
Yeah, which administration did that happen under?
The Trump administration.
That's right. He got
arrested
under the Trump
administration. It's actually starting to look a little more suspicious now. Yeah.
How is that more suspicious? So
he died in jail.
What administration? What administration did Acosta?
Trump's.
Was he in when he cut the deal?
He wasn't in office. Trump wasn't in office.
Yeah. Whose administration? Whose administration was that under?
Obama's.
Obama. So Obama, we have Acosta, goes ahead and gives him the sweetheart deal, right, under Obama. Under the Trump administration, they rearrest Jeffrey Epstein. Isn't that amazing? The guy protecting the pedophiles.
So the person that Trump brought into his administration is the one that cut Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart deal that no pedophile, child sex trafficker has ever seen before in their life. Such a sweetheart deal, they had to rearrest him again.
Yeah, they have seen it before in their life. First of all, he wasn't even accused of pedophilia. What he was accused of was localized trafficking in Florida. And yes, people have been cut sweetheart deals for that. You're full of it.
Okay, so your stance is Epstein was not a pedophile and there's nothing in the Epstein files. Because I don't want to debate this whole time.
I didn't say that. My stance is that there's bold claims which are made.
Whoa, who's the pussy now, Andrew? What? You won't make claims about what's in the files? Oh, Andrew, you scared to tell us what your opinion is about the files? Come on, buddy. Tell us, what is it? Is it all just a crazy story? It's all just, fairy tales and stuff, huh? No, you won't say that, will you? Because that is probably not true, right, bud? Right.
See, you're running from it. I don't blame you for running from the claim.
This isn't the debate. You're on the failure. This is worse. Absolutely.
Well, then it's part of the debate.
There should be dozens of Epstein arrests.
They
are literally covering it up. Exactly. They've redacted the names.
Who should we be arresting? Exactly.
Guys, you see, this is the thing. I'm not saying I would have done better. I'm not saying I would have done better with this. His wife didn't iron his shirt. True. Calm down. I refuse to. If I ain't screaming, I ain't streaming. Dude, I don't think that I would do better, but bro, Owen Shroyer, he's letting Andrew Wilson spin him out. Just with this part, he's like, he put Owen Shroyer on this track of trying to decipher, is Howard Lutnick and Donald Trump, are they pedos based on what's in the file? That was never even a claim that Owen was trying to bring up. You guys remember like how this started, right? Is the fact about who Donald Trump campaigned on there being stuff in the files that was like weirdo chomo stuff. He multiple times said there's weird stuff in those files about Epstein and it should be released, and I'm going to release them. And bad stuff went on that island. This, and that. I mean, unprovoked would bring it up. Campaigned on it, and then flipped the script. And now his buddies who said they weren't really friends with Epstein, turns out when we looked in the files, they were friends with Epstein and went to his island with their fucking children. Andrew Wilson can just pretend that that's nothing. We can just pretend and flip the script and say, how can you prove Howard Lutnick butt-fucked his own kids on the island? Literally no one said that. We're talking about Donald Trump lying to all of his voters. We've been over it. He campaigned on it and flipped the script. Sorry, retard.
Why are all the names redacted from the files?
Because I'll actually tell you. And if you've done your due diligence, you would know this.
Oh, because they're victims.
No. Because victims advocacy groups and lawyers have tied this thing up like nobody's business. Again, Michael Tracy's done
and no pedophiles go to jail.
Which pedophiles should go to jail?
The ones that they've redacted. So
what are their names?
So Epstein trafficked kids to no one.
No, Epstein was getting
so.
Butter Knife said, start with an easy debate. Go to a Tampa gas station and debate someone sitting on the side of the building. You can work your way up from that to this, DMS. That sounds like a plan. There are some pretty smart bums and crackheads in Tampa, though. I mean, they're not financially smart. They're not good at like balancing a budget. But they're wise. They're street smart.
Epstein was trafficking kids to him. Okay, so Epstein raped all the kids.
Name a single person he trafficked a kid to.
They're all redacted from the files. What
the files don't even indicate that.
You can see in the emails. He says, I have girls. How old do you want them? I have girls. I don't like yellow. I want Russian. It's all right there.
That's not him. There's nothing to do with pedophilia. As far as show me some evidence.
So as far as you know, it does.
Wait a second. Absence of evidence is not evidence. Do you agree with that?
No, I'm using your logic against you. If you're saying
my logic works for me, not for you.
Okay, so I'll accept this. I don't want to debate. So Epstein was not a pedophile. He was not trafficking children to anybody. He was not friends with Trump. They're not covering up evidence. They're not covering up the files.
I'm willing to see the distinction between the mythology of Epstein trafficking children to all of these various pedophiles is a mythology. I'm also willing to see that Epstein himself may very well have been a pedophile, but it seemed like the trafficking was going to him.
Again, guys, we're way down this road. We've digressed. Andrew Wilson has unfortunately tricked Owen Shroyer into digressing into this bullshit about us arguing about the craziest claims in the files. No, Donald Trump ran. He campaigned on releasing the files and hyping everybody up about what was in there. There's no need to argue about this. It's all Trump L's. You can't campaign on that, hype it all up, and then call everybody, all your voters, retards for believing a Democrat hoax that you campaigned on. Sorry.
And you have no proof to the alternative.
Sorry.
of that. And even when you point at Acosta,
So what does
this
that
happens under Obama, rearrested under Trump. Trump's the only one who released any Epstein files at all, signed in the Epstein Transparency Act.
Yeah, after they redacted them for weeks, they still haven't released everything. They still haven't released everything, by the way.
Because of victims, right, guys? They redacted all the victims' names. That's all they did, right? They didn't accidentally release the whole list of the victims' names, but made damn sure they redacted a bunch of guys' names who seemed to be, in the context of the emails, the perpetrators. That totally didn't happen.
Would Trump unredact them? Can you explain that to me?
Well, they shouldn't be redacted at all.
Yeah, but how would Trump unredact them?
Well, it's actually pretty easy. I think he calls them and says, hey,
no,
unredact these.
No, that's the judicial branch. That's a different branch of government.
And he can call them
Trump's allowed to do that with classified documents. Not allowed to do that with redactions. Those redactions are going through the judiciary. So what should Trump do here?
He can easily declassify. He can easily release everything.
They're not classified. They're redacted.
Then why aren't they released?
He did release them.
Not all of them.
Millions of documents.
Not all of them.
And not only that, again, how would he get them unredacted? Tell me.
Not even all of them. They're not even
how
released.
would he get them unredacted? How?
It's very simple. You bring out the investigators and you simply read the names that are redacted. That's all you got.
You mean like they did in front of a press club and those poor guys who weren't actually pedophiles got calls and threats and everything else?
That happened to one guy.
Yeah, but I mean, that's reading the names of people who aren't even related to it.
Okay,
This is the problem.
So you're satisfied with the Epstein files?
I didn't say satisfied, but I'm pointing out that I'm not willing to make claims that Donald Trump's a bad guy based on redactions that he's not responsible for. You can't tell me how he should unredact them. You can't tell me who the victims are. You can't tell me this.
I only want to jump in just because, given that we have only 40 minutes for the open dialogue, though it's been epic so far.
Okay, so, and again, guys, here we are where Andrew Wilson is setting up this false argument of we have us, the voters, who were told by Donald Trump that he would release the files and be the most transparent administration, and Donald Trump's administration, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, all of them telling us that they were going to release everything unredacted and give us the unedited security footage. It's our job, guys, to figure out how Donald Trump is going to do what he told us he's going to do. That is Andrew Wilson's current argument, is that it's up to the voter who was tricked by the campaign promises. It's up to us. We got to figure it out, guys. Not Donald Trump, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, all the people that told us that they were going to release all this shit unredacted. It's our fault.
All right, I just want to be sure if there are other topics you want to cover. We have only 8 minutes left.
I would say the Epstein files is a debacle and a disaster.
The releasing of the Epstein files was a debacle. I agree with that. The problem is that what I'll never accept is lack of evidence being evidence of a thing. And while you pretend that there's a global pedophilic ring that you have no evidence of controlling the United States, I can show you a global pedophilic ring which exists right out in the open that Trump's blowing up right now.
So Epstein didn't put a bunch of security cameras in all of his places. That didn't happen. He wasn't working with Maxwell, the daughter of the top.
Yes, he worked with Wayne Maxwell. Yes, there were security cameras in his various places. All of that is correct. That's, again, you're asking questions, not providing evidence.
So why does he do that for?
Wait, there's cameras here. What's that evidence?
This is an event. This is a televised
event. What's that evidence of?
Who is Epstein televising what's going on in his room?
He's not televising anybody. Got any proof?
So why are there cameras installed?
Because the same reason rich people have cameras all over the houses.
So he has them in all of his bedroom secret cameras?
What secret cameras? Can you show them?
Yeah, they're in the emails. He literally hired IDF security people to put secret cameras in all of his rooms.
No.
He had a damn security room with monitors in his mansions.
You're talking about one specific instance in one specific room, by the way, not at all of his properties and not in the Florida properties. And those are the ones where he got convicted of all these things.
Guys, listen, just because you have cameras set up in your house doesn't mean you're trying to film naughty stuff. Just ask Bubba the Love Sponge. He had a camera set up in his bedroom and it only accidentally filmed Hulk Hogan banging his wife, okay?
So what are you talking about? You're talking about a completely unrelated thing to what I'm asking you. Do you have evidence that Trump was part of a global pedophilic ring or that anybody was?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
Give me your best piece.
The Epstein files.
Best piece in the Epstein files.
The whole freaking thing. What are you talking about? Okay, so hold on. So was Epstein convicted?
Not of pedophilia.
Yes, he was.
Okay, who?
Was Maxwell convicted?
I'm sorry.
Was Maxwell?
I'm sorry. When was Jeffrey Epstein convicted of pedophilia?
Epstein, jail. Maxwell,
when
jail.
Was Epstein convicted of pedophilia?
Jail.
We all know that finding the right protein bar for your diet or weight loss journey feels impossible. So let's find out which ones are actually good for you.
Damn it. What's happening?
Two of them committed suicide.
When was Epstein convicted of pedophilia?
I think whatever the first charge was 2007 in Florida.
He wasn't convicted for pedophilia.
Trafficking children is pedophilia.
First of all,
so now you're saying Epstein wasn't a pedophile?
He was doing underage. There was one or two of the underage prostitutes that came from the school. That's true. But
so
I think they were 16, 17. Not prepubescent children. It's a whole different ballgame. He wasn't convicted of pedophilia.
Okay, so Epstein was.
You see, this is the thing, guys. We don't have all the unredacted files. We don't have all the information, okay? So there are plenty of examples of what you could argue is talk about trafficking and underage children. There are plenty of emails with that. We could try to go dig them up. I'd have to maybe go back and watch one of my past streams where I covered it because I didn't save a lot of that shit. But dude, we went through the Epstein library ourselves that night, guys. We fucking went through it. Plenty nights. There's, I forget who the different emails are from. One is talking to Epstein about 1-year-olds or some shit like that. There's like plenty of like disgusting emails, and you can bring up any of them, and Andrew Wilson's just going to say, that's not evidence. It's just a random file. So it doesn't matter. That's the problem, is we don't have all the evidence. They're not letting us see the evidence. So Andrew Wilson is using that as a point for him. Ridiculous.
A pedophile. Glad we got there.
I didn't say Epstein wasn't a pedophile. I said you haven't given us any proof he is. Got some?
Yeah, there's no proof Epstein wasn't a pedophile.
Oh, I'm going to use an argument from
he killed himself in jail. Nothing to see here. And we should probably pardon Maxwell, too.
I'm totally incredulous, but I have no evidence of my claims.
Just because the economy is another topic we might want to cover still while we have time. We do still have about 25 minutes.
Anyway, so I try to operate off a facts basis. What happened, I'll just sum this up real quick, and then I'll give you the last word on it, to be fair. I'll just summarize it very quickly on Epstein. Epstein very well could have been a pedophile and likely was himself a pedophile. But when you make these claims about demonic global pedophile rings which control the United States, yeah, I want evidence. I do. And I'm not willing to throw the president of the United States that I voted for under the bus without any evidence. I'm not. So, if you want to tie it off, you can.
Well, I'll just say we also saw.
So, and again, guys, this is the thing. We're like, this is a fake. This is a fake rebuttal, because this isn't even like the main argument from a lot of the people who have a problem with how Donald Trump has operated. And even though Owen Shroyer is not expressing this or articulating this properly, I think right now, this is the thing. Like I said, Trump ran on it. You can't just say, oh, you guys don't have evidence of a cabal of whatever. Yeah, they said they were going to show us all the evidence. Andrew Wilson needs to be confronted right now with the fact that they told us they were going to show us all the evidence, and every bit of it that they said was going to be completely transparent has been redacted and edited and completely, fucked with. This is such a ridiculous argument.
The Democrat emails spirit cookings and children in the hot tub of entertainment. So, but there's no evidence of pedophile rings.
You're talking about Podesta spirit cooking? The big art project spirit cooking?
That's right.
Yes, Leon Podesta, who was part of a massive art project for spirit cooking, along with, how about we talk about Rocket Pizza? Did they have babies underneath there, Owen? Did they have children in the basement, Owen?
Good opportunity to go into the economy.
Yeah, all right. So moving into this, I just got a single question for you. Owen, how would eliminating mass migration into a net negative not cause economic downturn or higher prices? How's that even possible?
Well, it's actually, there's a simpler fix to that, and that is you have to cut taxes. You have to cut them significantly. You have to cut them immediately. Mm-hmm. Americans are paying roughly 30% of the money that they make plus the property that they own. That number needs to be single digit.
White Ice T said, am I a POS because I don't really give a F about Epstein? Never have, not my business. I wouldn't say you're a POS. I would just say, I understand why some people think that it's a big, crazy story that is like inconsequential to you in a direct way or a palpable way. I can completely understand that, but I really have an issue with, and I wish other people also would have an issue with, we don't know all the facts. We can't make a bunch of direct, crazy allegations with direct evidence, but just the fact that there's a possibility that our tax dollars and certain levers of power in our country are being used to the benefit of some disgusting, demonic chomos. That's a big problem. I don't want money that I worked for. Someone taking essentially my money is going to pay for going to some black budget program where the CIA is using my money to like purchase CP for some world leader or something to have blackmail. What a disgusting thing. And so I mean, just the fact that a world like this is like not that much of a stretch according to some of the stuff that we've seen in the files. And again, guys, I feel like I've been a fairly rational person with this, where I've said, yes, we've covered a bunch of crazy stuff that's in the files, and I never have said, look what's in the files. This is 100% true because it's in the files. I've argued with my friends about this. A A friend of mine was talking about Biden being dead because it was in the files. I'm like, dude, that was just some random, that was a file that the FBI had saved, and it was like some random guy that got like bought out of some company or something, and he sent this crazy email to all of the remaining CEOs or something. I forget what we looked up, but you know, like some people think like that. They think because it's in the files is true. That's not us over here. That's not how we're thinking about this. But the issue is there is a lot of smoke and people flipping up, changing the game on us, you know? People in the guy that was chuckling every time someone confronted Trump about the files happened to lie about his association with him and even took his children to the island after Epstein had been convicted. I mean, I don't know, guys. If you're somebody that like kind of doesn't care, I get that people are busy and stuff, and like part of the reason I probably care more is because I stream about it and I've been following this stuff for a long time, guys. Long time. I mean for me a lot, over 10 years. Since like 2014 I've been talking about this stuff. I've lost YouTube channels to this. I've been throttled for discussing it. And here we are, where the world is being forced to confront this possibility. It's no longer just weirdo chatter on the internet between fucking tinfoil hat wearing schizos. This is something people are being forced to confront. That it's a possibility and what kind of people might be involved.
It's tops. And a lot of Americans will have a little more money to take care of their bills and take care of their family, but we're not really having that happen. Now, I feel like this whole argument is assuming that Americans don't want these jobs.
No, it's assuming they do. In fact, my argument to you is just, I'll simply state it. If it's the case that we bring in, I don't know, 100,000 immigrants tomorrow to California, let's say, okay, and they're willing to take $10 an hour less than the Americans who are there, would you agree with me that that'll probably save you prices and goods and services from whatever that corporation is or company?
No, because the corporations are they're just going to charge at just as much. They're going to make it cheaper, huh, Andrew? Because the big corporations hire Mexicans, they're going to make the soda cheaper, huh? Right? Is that how that works, Andrew? Funny.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. So like if you took McDonald's and you paid them $25 an hour, your cheeseburger's going to get more expensive. You agree with that? Mm-hmm. So you can offset that with immigrant labor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if they, because the corporations are trying to make as much money as possible. The prices are going to go up still, even if they have fucking illegal immigrants.
Do you agree that that's likely true?
Yes, but I don't believe that's a solution.
I agree with you. But if it is in fact the case that Trump is doing his job, which it seems like he is, since we have negative net migration, why wouldn't it be the
Dude, this is the thing. This has been the lie that's been debunked recently, that these fucking companies and corporations are charging more for their products to offset the cost and like barely making even. This isn't true, guys. These corporations have been maxing profits through the fucking the what's it called, epidemic, through COVID and everything. They're just rolling in dough, guys. They're not bringing their prices down because they hire a few Mexicans. Shut up.
Case that if we're deporting all these illegals and they're self-deporting at an overwhelming rate, of course your localized food prices are going to go up because most of these jobs are now going to Americans. In fact, this is exactly what Cato is saying. They're saying we're getting hurt mostly in the economy because Trump is not even letting legal immigrants come in. I thought that was what we wanted, man. We want to stop that legal and illegal immigration. But it's like, not if your fried chicken's going to go up 30 cents. What are you talking about? We want that, right?
Well, the deportation numbers are not where they need to be. I don't know how much that falls into the economic realm of things. Obama deported more people than Trump, so we're not.
There was a lot more people to deport.
But I think that there's other reasons for that. I think that this gets into the, let's say, failures at the Department of Justice, which maybe they're just starting to get into with the SPLC, but I don't know. We'll see about that if we come back to that. We're being told as Americans, hey, buck up and pay more for gas. It's this war in Iran. You got to buck up. It's your patriotic duty to pay more for gas. That is a war that's being fought in the foreign and special interests. Do you think Americans might be willing, instead of paying another extra $1 per gallon gasoline, maybe an extra 10 cents for a cheeseburger if they know that means Americans are taking the job? I mean, that's essentially what we're doing.
But most Americans don't know that because even people on my side are running around saying Trump's not deporting enough people, even though we have a net negative in migration right now. Those jobs, yes, a closed border and net negative migration, legal and illegal. More people are leaving than coming. That's for the first time we finally got that. It's like, yeah, prices are going to go up from that. You know this. Why not be honest with people? If that's the case, and we're talking about gas, I'm almost done.
Prices went up from tariffs.
Okay.
Prices went up.
You want to get into tariffs? We can do that in a second.
Bro, this is so fucking retarded. Dude, Andrew, are you kidding me? You seriously think Dude, this is crazy. There's like 100 different ways that this doesn't make sense. That's wild, dude. Prices were already going up during Biden, and Trump was like going around saying, oh, like, remember during the campaign stuff, a couple different people were like, oh yeah, I run a small business. I'm paying this, this, and this. And he's like, oh my God, you're paying that much? Prices were already too high. They're still going up. And why, again, guys, this is where Andrew Wilson is putting the burden on the voter who got tricked into voting for Trump based on these empty promises. If it's not possible, Andrew Wilson is literally telling you, oh, you want immigrants kicked out and you want to stop illegal immigration and you want prices to go down? Are you fucking retarded? Sorry, Donald Trump said he was going to do that. Ask Donald Trump if he's fucking retarded. How about that? Why would Donald Trump tell us we're going to kick all the fucking Mexicans out and bring the prices down? I guess that orange fucknut should just shut the fuck up.
But let's start with the gas prices. All you're doing is pitting Trump against Trump. On the Biden level, at his top, do you know what the gas prices were?
No, we got to figure it out. Guys, we have to be the economic genius. We have to figure out how to make Trump's promises make sense, guys. We have to do it. The voter does, not Trump.
About right where they're at now?
Nope. Way more. They were over $5.50. Yeah, they're $1 cheaper right now at the peak Trump than they were at the peak of Biden. So you're only comparing Trump's gas prices to Trump's gas prices. Because if you compare them to the Democrat, they were still way higher. I mean, way higher. Now,
when did the price go up?
Trump speculation mostly.
No, when did the price go up?
Oh, I thought you said why did the price go up? Well, the price has been going up steadily and decreasing steadily. Yes, correct. Due to what? Market speculation. And you can't control speculators and neither can Trump. It's not because we have some supply shortage of oil. Where's our shortage? Nowhere. We're not getting oil from Iran. We don't even have the processors for their oil. That goes to China. So we have no shortage, but our oil prices go up. Why? Because of speculation. And you just completely omit that. Not only do you omit that, but you omit this other part, which is you still haven't explained how it is that we're going to have net negative migration and prices aren't going to go up. They are.
Hold on a second. Trump is the one that claimed that he could get gas prices down.
Thank you! Oh my God, Owen Shroyer, thank you! I'm going to suck your dick if you want. Thank you. Thank you. Donald Trump said it.
He's the one that made that claim.
And he did. If they're lower than Biden's peak by $1.
No.
Yes.
Okay, but we don't even know if we've seen Trump's peak. If this war in Iran doesn't end.
You can't just say, well, I'm incredulous, they may go up more. They're actually
Now say Donald Trump said he's going to kick out the illegals and bring the prices of food and everything down. Now say that, Owen. Owen, tell him, please say something. It's not for us to figure out how to make Trump's promises make sense. Trump said he's going to kick all the illegals out and bring prices down. That's not for us to figure out. Tell him, Owen, tell him.
Going down. They've been going down steadily.
Gas prices are going down?
Yes, they're going to be going down, yes. And speculators, by the way, are speculating that, which is why they're going to be going down. Interestingly enough, we're talking about oil prices, though, and gas prices. Yes, at Biden's peak, they were $1 more than they are the national average right this second as we're talking. I even made sure this morning before we came in, just to be sure. And yes, that is in fact the case. So it's like you're only comparing Trump to Trump, and even with him blowing the shit out of pedophiles in Iran, like the Ayatollah Khomeini, he still managed to give you $1 cheaper gas than Joe Biden did.
But you just said it wasn't Trump. You just said it was the speculators. Now you're giving credit to Trump. So I don't know what, I'd like a little consistency.
Okay, so wait a second. So you're going to blame it on Trump instead of the speculators. But when I say even under those circumstances, it's $1 cheaper, that can't be because of Trump.
Let's be clear. No.
I want the consistency.
Here's my metric. Yeah. Trump said on his campaign he would get gas prices down. He hasn't done it. Yes, He's even admitted that we had to take a detour off of America First to do this war. He said it's over. It's not a war.
He has gotten the gas prices down.
Gas prices have gone up since we started the war.
Yes, gas prices went up when we started the war due to market speculation.
So Trump started the war, and now gas prices are higher.
Yeah, but you're only comparing Trump to Trump. And if you're going to compare him to Biden,
I'm comparing this administration to this administration.
Exactly.
Gas prices have gone up since he started this
war. Yes, and
so also Biden's peak. Let's get a little context here, guys. Biden's peak gas prices occurred during when? COVID, guys. Just had to look it up and make sure. That's right. Do we have a fucking pandemic going on right now that Donald Trump could use as an excuse for the gas prices? No.
If you follow Trump's plan, gas prices are likely going to bottom out because he has control of oil there, control over oil in Venezuela.
That's a nice
he has control over all of it.
Venezuela oil won't be ready for probably months.
But we still have control of it. What did I say? The future will go down.
We'll see. I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case. That's not the case right now. And Americans are struggling financially. And now here we are in another war in the Middle East, and we're sick of it.
Are you going to blame market speculators?
I'm going to blame Trump for getting us into another war on Israel's behalf. Yes, I am going to blame Trump for that. He did that.
So help me out here. Can you tell me all of the downsides of Donald Trump killing pedophiles in the Middle East?
Bro, here we go. Expert bullshit.
First of all, do you know every single person? Were those schoolgirls pedophiles?
It's institutionalized in.
Thank you. How many of those schoolgirls were chomos, Andrew? Tell us.
The Iranian
No. Were the 200 schoolgirls pedophiles?
I want to make sure that they're alive so they get raped. But that aside, no, of course not. But there's going to be deaths inside of a war.
Okay, so it is a war.
Yeah, I didn't say it wasn't a war.
Does he need
I'm not
congressional
going to
approval
over the word, even though there's no ground invasion, there's no boots on the ground, there's none of that. I just want to know, how is the global interest served? You're so concerned about pedophiles. He killed one of the most major ones who's ever existed since the late 1970s. He
was friends with
he
Epstein,
put it
was
inside of
probably
the Constitution of Iran that you can marry 9-year-old girls, dude. And by the way, Khomeini,
that's good.
Khomeini was married to a 15-year-old. Perhaps by the lunar cycle could have been 14. His son was married to a 14 or 15-year-old. A lot of his high command were married to children as well. Trump killed all of them without a single boot on the ground.
Great. And I'm sure after we've killed thousands of Iranians, including young schoolgirls and the entire family, I'm sure that the Iranians are going to be less radicalized because of that. So I'm not
radicalized. How do you get more radicalized than marrying children, dude?
What do you think they're going to stop?
Talking about?
You think they're going to stop?
No, well, I'm just saying, how do you get more radical? You're like, oh, the Iranians are going to get more radicalized than marrying kids?
Well,
like all the United States blowing up the pedophiles.
No, I don't think he meant they're going to bang younger children, Andrew. And I'm pretty sure you know that's not what he meant. But funny response, cool response, bro. That was a nice comeback.
Hold on. How many countries has Iran been bombing this year?
Well, Iran is a state-sponsored terrorism. You agree with that?
Is Israel a state-sponsored terrorism?
I think that Israel's done many terrorism.
Is America a state-sponsored terrorism?
I don't think that America generally is a state-sponsored terrorism.
Okay, well, in the Obama administration, it's very well known we were arming moderate rebels that turned into ISIS and turned into ISIL. So America backs these proxy groups. The CIA backs these proxy groups.
But that was due to Bush doctrine.
And now Trump is Bush.
Trump has win. Where's the forever war?
We're in the Middle East.
Not a single boot on the ground.
We've been in the Middle East the majority of Trump's administration.
Is there a single boot on the ground in Iran?
We have been at a war in Iran since.
Is there a single boot? Okay,
that's like all over the Middle East. We got boots on the ground.
In Iran.
We got boots on the ground.
Where's our
in the
invasionary
strait?
force?
We got people in the strait. We're talking about going to Khark Island.
Oh, we had 7,000 people there, and now there's 10,000 people there. Where's the big invasionary force to take over Iran?
So I'll tell you what.
Where's that?
If they do go into Iran, what will you say?
Yeah. Well, at that point, I'm done.
Okay, fair enough.
It is the case. I've drawn the line for myself that if there's a ground invasion in Iran, that would be a continuation.
What about casualties?
Hang on, that would be a continuation.
Dude, listen. I pray that no American soldiers get hurt. I don't want boots on the ground, but I almost do just to watch Andrew have to eat shit. I want to see Andrew Wilson squirm, because that will be a good litmus test, guys, right? Like, if he's really shilling, we can keep this as a good timestamp. Let's remember 53 minutes into this that Andrew Wilson said he would what? What does drawing the line mean? I'm sure, I guess we need to know what drawing the line means. So what's the support for the Iran conflict or the support for Trump? Either way, I'd love to watch him squirm when that happens. So we'll see what happens. If there's some debate bro, philosophical way he can squirm out of having to confront that, he said that's drawing the line for him.
Of the Bush policy.
What about casualties?
Hang on, let me finish the point, and I'll get to casualties too. If it's the case that there's a mass ground invasion of Iran, then yeah, I would have full support then, because that would be a continuation of Bush forever war doctrine. However, limited strikes like what we saw in Venezuela, or 6 to 8 weeks, which is what we're seeing right now, that's not enough to pull my support from this president, especially with all of his success in domestic policy.
Big E, what's up, bro? Said nice bra, DMS. Thank you. I got big titties to keep in here. I did chest day the other day, guys. And then yesterday, and I did legs today. Got some leg action going. Did some lunges. It's going to be biceps tomorrow. Going to do the biceps. Oh, damn. Looking pretty ripped right now. Quite honestly, guys, I'm looking pretty ripped. I won't lie to you.
If I grant you, and I'm not a fan of the war, I'm not an advocate of it, but even if I grant it that it's the worst thing he could have possibly done, it's not going to change the fact he's been a successful president. His domestic policies alone in eliminating crime and mass migration and being a net negative, that's what people wanted more than anything. It wasn't just the forever wars, it was the mass migration. That's what Trump always harped on. And he's been after it and after it and after it. And he did deploy the National Guard to protect these various centers in these cities while ICE was removing these people from the nation. Democrats did everything that they could do to stop them, including court cases, terrorism against them, and everything else in between. So it's like all of those show me that the guy's very successful, even if I grant it to you how bad Iran is.
Well, I think that they made a major blunder on the deportations because now they're basically stopping them. They should have gone after the Democrats first. Quite frankly, they should have been arresting Democrats for treason. Alejandro Mayorkas should have been the first arrest. He should have been hauled in front of Congress. And you're a little too late going after the SPLC, in my opinion, which is now being funny enough, it's actually being directed at the right. They're now using this SPLC thing to claim that anybody that's a dissident on the right is paid for by leftists and needs to be censored. That seems to be the theme with that. But they should have gone after all these groups right out of the gate, Andrew. They should have gone after all the Catholic charity groups, all the Jewish charity groups, all these groups all along the Rio Grande, all these groups on the southern border, all the Democrats that brought them in, all the Biden administration brought them in. All of them should have been hauled to jail.
Yeah,
and they weren't.
Except they have due process, Owen.
And what process?
So hang on.
They haven't started the process.
So how do you know the SPLC?
Because there's no results.
Tell me, how long were you aware of the SPLC investigation?
What are the charges?
Hang on, let's walk through this. When were you aware of the SPLC investigation? When they released it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so when they released it. You're not aware of what the Trump Justice Department is investigating or not investigating.
Show me the evidence.
He said
You're the one who wants to- there's no evidence.
He said,
Lack of evidence, lack of claim.
Hang on. He said multiple times that he wants to bring James Comey up on charges, right? He said multiple times that he wants to go after
those charges got dropped.
Instructing his Justice Department to investigate these things. We're finally starting to see the fruit. My evidence is we're finally seeing the fruit with the SPLC. I'm guaranteeing you that there's going to be other organizations which are indicted for various things like this. This is exactly what it is that you said that you wanted. It's at least a step in the right direction.
They've only been charged for financial crimes. They need to be charged for
so was Al
treason.
Capone.
They need to be charged for treason.
Yeah, Al Capone was not charged for his mob hits or for bootlegging.
You're not comparing Al Capone to 15 million invasion.
If it's the case that you go to jail for 15
Al Capone is more of an American than
If you go to jail for 15 years for the crime of murder, or to jail for 15 years for the crime of for some type of financial fraud, you can prove the one but not the other. Which one would you go after?
I would go for all. That's what the Feds do.
No, you wouldn't. If you could prove one but not the other, you would go after the one you could prove.
No, they always overcharge so they can get you a plea and get their incarceration rate and get their conviction rate. I would know. I've been through it before.
Sure.
Regardless, we're talking about almost 2 years into this administration and no deep state arrests. None.
Who do you want to see arrested?
I just told you Mayorkas. There's one. How about the Obama administration? How about John Brennan? How about James Comey? How about James Comey?
Tell me what your process would be to arrest them.
Okay. First of all, Dan Bongino, who was the deputy director of the FBI, spent 8 years writing books and doing a podcast all about arresting these people.
Thank you. He also spent months on his podcast and on other people's podcasts telling us how we were going to get the full unredacted files and the full unedited surveillance video from Epstein's cell, proving that no one else went to his cell. All bullshit.
Do you support Israel and
No.
the Jewish people now?
No.
Now more than ever.
Not if they're over there.
Israel needs committed friends around the world.
No, you don't.
He gets in there and does none of it.
Yeah, so the same Dan Bongino who talked about what was going on in the Epstein files ad nauseum, how none of it made
and then
sense,
changed his mind
because he went in and saw. Here's what's funny: why would anybody ever want to go work for the Trump administration from the private sector, especially somebody like Dan Bongino? If it's the case that he goes in, looks at the evidence, reviews it, and says, "Actually, I got this wrong," and you guys fucking crucify him for it. You crucify him for saying, "Look, I got this wrong." And it's like, why would anybody ever want to go work for the Trump administration if that's going to be the case, Owen?
Imagine that. You give us a little peek into what's going on in the Epstein files, and it makes people even more aware and more suspicious, and then you say there's no there. If anything, our peek at the Epstein files showed us that there is something serious there. Very serious.
Look, not only have you never provided any evidence for that, but your other problem is you didn't actually answer my question. What incentivization would like, let's say Trump drafted you to go to his administration to investigate these things, and you went in good faith and you did. And you came back and you were like, look, I took a look at all this evidence and I was wrong about this. And then all of your friends and cohorts and everybody else who was cheering you on fucking crucified you for it.
You know what, Andrew? It's funny that you say that because that's literally happening.
Dude, that is bullshit, guys. Andrew, well, this is such a false argument. This does not represent what happened with Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. Dan Bongino and Kash said that they saw the files, saw the unedited surveillance video, and it's undeniable proof. This is literally nearly word for word what they said, that they saw the surveillance footage from the cell and the files, and that there's undeniable proof that Epstein took his own life and that there's no conspiracy. You guys understand that they said they were going to show us all that because there's nothing to see there, and then didn't. Right? We're all keeping up with this, correct? For some reason, I'm just making sure, because Andrew Wilson seems like he can't keep all these things, these thoughts in his head at once. He can't keep track of all this. For some reason, I thought he was really, really smart, but it seems like he's a little lost here.
To me right now. Okay, that's literally happening from this new MAGA right cult. Who? I already did this. I already put my time in.
Yeah,
I was arrested. Hold on a second. For four different times, I was arrested for supporting Trump. Okay. Now I can incorrect. Now, you like Trump. I don't like Trump. Now, beyond the point. I already went through that crucible. I already put my face, my name, my neck out there, and it's not even that I necessarily did it for Trump. I did it for the truth because I believe Trump was innocent and I wanted to support him. So I've already been crucified. I have MAGA people putting me on lists. I have MAGA people doxing me. I have MAGA people sending people to my house. I have Laura Loomer in my box all day telling me she's telling Trump to post negatively about me. Trump posted something about me. He told me to shut the fuck up. So I got arrested 4 times for this guy. Spent months in prison for this guy. Did everything for this guy. Censored, lawsuit, everything. Lost all my social media, kept supporting him. And then what is the one recognition I get from him? Fuck you, shut up. I don't even care. I did it because it's the truth. And now the truth is, this administration has turned against us. MAGA has now been weaponized against us. And Trump is now the very globalist that we were supposed to get out of the White House.
This is ironically hilarious. So
thank you. Thank you.
The first thing that you claim, you say, hey, look, I was crucified for my support of Donald Trump by Democrats. Do you agree? It was by Democrats.
Well, actually, first it was by Republicans because we were going up against.
It's never Trumpers, like you are right now.
No, I'm not.
So
anyway,
anyway,
I voted for him 3 times.
what happened is, well, now you're like, oh, it's the worst thing ever.
No, I'm
when
saying
you're talking about,
he's failed. This administration
yes, it
failed.
failed. And when you're talking about this, Democrats were the ones who persecuted you. Democrats were the ones who threw you in jail. They were the ones who didn't want to give you a fair trial. Me and my wife, we advocated for the release of Jason.
Dude, Scott Starbird, you were right, bud. You were right. Andrew Wilson lost this debate, and that's pretty incredible. And it's just because of it's because of the subject matter, guys. He's defending indefensible stuff. That's what it is.
Sixers everywhere that we possibly could, yourself included.
And I will give Trump that. That is the biggest victory.
Yeah,
I've never
huge
regretted
victory
voting for Trump because he did that.
Yeah, huge victory. Okay, but not only that, let's dive into this a little bit deeper. When you're talking about your supposed crucifixion now by the right, Trump hasn't shut down your channels. He hasn't done any of that. Under Biden, that was a sure thing.
Well, let's not be so sure that's not going to happen soon.
You say gonna, hasn't though. Okay, under Biden, it was.
Isn't that the whole point? Is none of this stuff has happened under Trump? And you're saying, oh, but it could.
Under Biden, no, it's not. Under Biden, it would have for sure. He was working with Facebook and these other groups in order to shut down people who have podcasts. You have a voice right now. That's true. The president of the United States might have told you to shut.
Also, another L for Andrew Wilson. Donald Trump did work with Twitter and Facebook to have things removed. I know Andrew Wilson, that's one of those facts that he's going to conveniently not know or remember. But Donald Trump did. You can look this up. Donald Trump had people's Twitters and stuff, tweets removed. Tweets about him. Or, well, he tried. I know at least that came out with those files, the Twitter files or whatever. That came out in the files that Trump had put in requests to have people's stuff removed from social media because it was about him. Big L's for Andrew Wilson tonight.
Fuck up, but he still gave you a platform. Tell him to shut his fucking mouth. That's the distinction.
No, Trump did not. That's the First Amendment. That is the First Amendment. It was given to us by the founding
Biden
fathers.
didn't give a fuck about the First Amendment.
And neither does Trump. Trump doesn't care either. Trump, they'll censor us under Trump. They already did. He did nothing.
Where?
What are you talking? When did I get censored? What year?
No, the Trump administration.
I was censored under Trump 1.
Hold on, guys. I'm gonna look this up just so I can show you. Just because there's gonna be someone out there that might watch this and not look it up and just say I'm full of shit. Let's go. Lock in.
I was censored from 2018 to 2022.
Trump's administration censored you. What?
What did he do for it? What did he do to end the
That's different. That's you got to make a distinction.
No, you're the one making claims that Trump did something for me. I'm not asking Trump to do anything for me. I'm saying that
he instructed the Department of Justice to stop putting pressure on Facebook and these other groups for censorship. He promised you
that is happening. That's why he just brokered the deal to give the Ellisons everything so that they can censor the internet in favor of this war and foreign policy that's unpopular.
Where's that happening?
Right now. It just happened with TikTok. It just happened with Paramount.
No, TikTok. You talk about the war
constantly.
I know. I'm on TikTok arguing with them constantly.
Ellison and Oracle are about to have all these databases. They're going to sell all of
in the
private
future soon. But you've been wrong about futures before. And by the way,
Okay, guys, here we go. Let's move over to this tab. We're doing our fact checking. Where let's see, Trump's request to remove stuff from Twitter. Yeah, Trump asked for tweets to be taken down. Yes, the Trump White House demanded Twitter remove tweets. One of them was from Chrissy Teigen. Okay, guys, there's your free speech king. Your king. There he is, the god of free speech. Right there, guys, requesting that Twitter remove someone's free speech from the platform. He's totally not like Biden at all, guys. He's different. He's different. He's so much better than those crazy Democrats.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. When Doge ended, and then Musk called the Epstein files a hoax, and then struck Iran, I was called a panican. I was called a panican because I knew it meant we were getting into a war with Iran and a regime change war with Iran. I was called a panican. I was called a panican because if he did this, the MAGA coalition would be destroyed. And I was called a panican because I said if he does this, we're going to lose the midterms. And now all three things of those have happened.
Except you're also wrong about Venezuela.
What was I wrong about Venezuela?
Venezuela, you said that there's a good chance there that we're going to be bogged down in a war.
Never said that.
You did too.
No, I
said it on your show. Yes,
no, I didn't.
Everybody wants these, but nobody wants to do these.
No, because that machine's retarded.
And everybody wants these.
You said there's a good shot there. You were in a debate when you said it, in fact, with a caller. It's a good shot there would be bogged down as well.
What
that's what's funny to me. It's like every time I dive in to your view, it's always, well, down the road, he's going to do these bad things. Down the road, he's going to do this. Trump's administration hasn't censored you. Trump's administration didn't jail you. Trump's administration didn't do any of that. You just gave him credit for getting you released. And not only that, we're talking about the economics of this thing. We diverted into this, which is fine. I think that speech is something that we need to debate about. But when we're talking about the economics, you still haven't actually told us how it is that you, Owen Shroyer, are going to make an offset for net negative migration without prices going up. There's going to be
taxes.
That's an adjustment period.
King Trump, huh? White Ice Tea, all hail Trump. All hail the orange man.
You can cut taxes in a year.
Do you think that prices are going to immediately decrease because you cut taxes?
Prices don't have to decrease. You have more money in your wallet. You have more money in your bank account. You're not paying it to the government.
Again, those are adjustment periods that are incremental. So if you cut taxes immediately, right? And by the way, Trump doesn't unilaterally have the power to do that. He doesn't unilaterally have the power to just cut taxes. That has to go through Congress. And so this idea that you have, one thing he did do, and he did do well, unilaterally with his executive orders, was with migration. And he did get us to the point where we're at a net negative of migration. Who would ever have given us that? Who out of anybody in the field would ever have given us net negative migration?
If Trump has a positive, it's definitely on the migration issue, but it's not perfect. He's still getting Chinese students. He's still letting Chinese students into these universities to save their ass. He's still letting the
50% decrease of the H-1Bs. But Cato Institute recently said, in fact, cut down 136,000, 50% of the H-1Bs eliminated under Trump's policy. So yeah, it's true. Chinese immigrants can still come in and study under H-1B visas. 50% less of them. That's correct.
So don't you think that there should be an adjustment period, just like you said with taxes? Shouldn't there be an adjustment period for hiring Americans? Because what happened was that the farmers, agriculture, all these big businesses said, Trump, we have to have this cheap migrant labor.
That's correct. Yes.
And so he caved. He let the donors get what they want. That's what Trump does. This is a donor class administration.
In this case, not only did he not cave, but the opposite happened.
What are you talking about? He's doing mass deportations?
No. He gave subsidies. And yes, there has not only has there been big time deportations, but it's border crossings. It's just new ones even coming in versus self-deporting is an amazing feature at a net negative. Same with immigration internationally, which means legal immigration. So yeah, he did deal with them with subsidies. That was designed to keep the prices down. But again, if we follow your policy, which would be mine, you want them all out, right? I want all the Mexicans who are illegally out of here.
I would say you can't, there's too many, but I would say you have to do at least the 15 that came in under Biden.
Well, you want to get rid of, I want them all gone. I want all the illegal immigrants gone, don't you?
Yeah, I would say
okay, great. So if we get all the illegal immigrants out of California,
but Trump's not doing that.
Hang on, if we get all the illegal immigrants out of California tomorrow, right? What happens to the price of produce? Does it go up?
Well, we need an adjustment time in.
That's my whole point. We would need an adjustment time.
So we both agree that mass deportation is a failure of the administration.
What you're dealing with right now is an adjustment time. How is net negative migration a failure?
We're not getting.
Again, guys, we need an adjustment time. Cool. How about Donald Trump not tell us that he's going to simultaneously get rid of the Mexicans and bring the prices of everything down, right? It'd be cool if he didn't make that promise and then piss everybody off because it's not even possible. Was Andrew Wilson, we're going to have to go back and check, guys. Surely, right, guys, surely back when Donald Trump was telling everyone that he was going to kick out all the Mexicans and simultaneously bring down the prices of everything, surely Andrew Wilson was out there saying that Donald Trump is retarded for thinking that's possible, right? I'm sure there's some tweet out there or something. I'm sure he did a whole video or debated somebody about how there's no way that's possible and Donald Trump is retarded for suggesting such a thing. And if you voted because you believe that, you were also retarded.
Mass deportation.
You don't have to mass deportation.
Someone find it. Go find it. I'm sure it'll take you 5 seconds. Someone go look.
Poor people aren't coming in, dude. You don't have
They're
to.
already here.
Yes, and by the way, he's going after the criminal elements of those people first, which he's been doing. There's a net negative of them crossing into the border. If you had said day one with any Republican administration, we'd have only 1,000 border crossings a day versus 46,000 border crossings a day. You say it's the biggest fucking success anybody had ever seen.
How about this?
Somehow with Trump, though, Trump gets exactly that done. Day one, and Owen goes, well, what have you done for me lately?
What is the number? What is the number that you would be happy with of deportations for Trump's 4 years?
Overall number?
Yeah.
Probably I would want to see like happy with, you said, versus what would be optimal. That
let's put a reasonable but good expectation number.
I mean, I would be happy if it was the case that we had no new immigrants coming in. I think that's a massive
we agree that Trump is at a success. Okay, let me answer my own question, then you can respond. Yeah. I think if Trump doesn't deport at least 15 million people, which seems like an impossibility, but they came here, we can get them out. There's strategies to do it. Yeah. I think 15 million. If it's less than that, I think we got a problem.
Well, the entirety of the basis for the 15 million number, you agree with me, is way more than 15 million.
Probably like 40, maybe.
Or 50.
Yeah.
It's very high. Yeah. So if it is the case that it's very high that we have this amount of illegals that are here, that's going to take a long time. And Trump has been hampered. He was moving towards this. He's been hampered in the courts. Again, 3 times the amount of injunctions any other president when it comes to illegal immigration. And he's trying to unilaterally do this because Congress isn't working with him. He's hamstrung at every level. He's using executive orders to push that through. And it's been wildly successful with the tools that he has. You have to say that that's successful. A net negative migration.
I've said that that's the one success, but
that's the big success.
I just don't think that it's going to be where it needs to be. I think that he's caved on the mass deportations. And at the end of the day, as much as both of us would like to see every single illegal immigrant deported, I think that
the prices are going to go up, right?
I think that you can negate that by not getting into another war.
That's a good idea, actually. White iced tea. These two should fight. The winner gets to shave the other's beard. These two guys don't have beef like that, though. This is both these guys come from the right. You know, they're not. They don't have heat like that. These guys are pretty serious about their facial hair too. It looks like.
The war in the Middle East, are you kidding me? You think that's the budget buster?
Absolutely. He's asking for $1.5 trillion in the next defense budget.
Nothing.
We pay $1 trillion in interest on our debt.
Do you know what our entitlements are in comparison to military spending? But that's my whole point. When we're talking about entitlements, the number one spending, not military. That's one.
I think interest is about to take entitlements.
Well, maybe. But the number one spending right now is entitlements is 3 times higher than military spending. 3 times higher. Most of those entitlements are coming in because of illegal immigration and mass migration. You know this.
I have a zero tolerance for any welfare.
Yeah, I've heard you say it yourself. So if that's the case, you're not going to be able to do this without a transitory period where prices go up. When you see all these jobs, first of all, real wage growth have gone up 1.3%. because the jobs are finally going to
The
Americans.
economy's bad. You can throw numbers every day. The economy is bad. More Americans are living paycheck to paycheck.
Are real wages
More
up or
Americans
down?
Down.
Down. Okay, so how far down are they?
They're as down as they've ever been.
As down as they've ever been, ladies and gentlemen.
Anybody can cook these numbers.
These wages are as down as they've ever been. No, the wages are up.
Are you going to
1.3%
tell
wages.
Americans that they're doing good financially?
I didn't say there's not room for improvement. We're talking about whether or not Trump is successful. I think that Americans would be doing worse if real wages were net negative like they were under Biden. Yes, and that real wages have gone up 1.3%. It's a major thing.
And cost of living has gone up 2.3%.
And guess what? That'll go down when you get rid of mass migration and immigrants.
The conclusion of the open dialogue. Gentlemen, thank you very much. That was a riveting open discussion.
I think we take questions.
Yeah, no,
By the way, that's how a gentleman debates. So
nope. Are you looking for something truly worth your time this summer? DebateCon 8 is bringing 2 full days of high-level, no-holds-barred debates.
Guys, how do I, for real, what the fuck where do I have to email to get on one of these debates? I don't want to do the live one yet because I'm scared. But I would do a Zoom debate for real. For realsies, guys. I want to get on this fucking channel. By the way, this is from the Modern Day Debate channel. You should be subscribed to this. If you're watching this, if you're watching my stream and or subscribe to my stream, you need to be subbed to the Modern Day Debate channel. For real. There's they have a new flat earth debate like every month, but besides that, the rest of them are like, interesting. I do watch quite a bit of this channel. It's pretty cool. I don't watch every single one that they release, but I like to hear, even if it's subjects I've heard debated a few times, I like to just pop in like, oh, I watched, who was it? Kent Hovind versus some atheist guy. And dude, Kent was mopping the floor with him. It was fucking hilarious. I'm not saying I think Kent Hovind is right, by the way. I'm just saying he mopped the floor with this fucking guy. It was wild. Ethan, Ethan Nybeck? What's up? Welcome. I think this is a new person. Thanks for jumping up in the chat and checking out the stream. Welcome. This is Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. Andrew can't defend Trump. Dude, this was kind of... I was expecting better out of Andrew. I kind of felt hopeless for him because, like I said before, this is kind of you're sending an expert debater in, but he's defending an indefensible position. Really, I mean, even the best debater, it would take and that's what I was saying, guys. Owen isn't the best debater, but it would really take someone really shitty to like just straight up get butt effed like Andrew Wilson does to like half of the people he debates. But yeah, this was a rough one. Let's hear where the Q&A goes. I wanted to get off like now, but I'm intrigued.
To Dallas, featuring 8 total matchups with some of the sharpest minds online. Headlining the event, Andrew Wilson versus Dinesh D'Souza and Rachel Wilson versus not so
nice. Get some destiny.
Erudite. This isn't watered down panel talk. This is real debate, real disagreement, and real intellectual firepower. Check out the link in the description box below to grab your tickets for DebateCon 8 right now. With that,
pay the bills, guys, come on, support the sponsor. Come on now.
With that, thank you very much, folks. We are going to start the Q&A. If you can come down this aisle, this is where we'll have your questions.
This is rigged.
Is Rachel the first one up?
This is rigged right here. 100%. How did she get first question?
She's first.
100% it's rigged.
Check the ID.
And folks, I have to remind you,
where are the borders of this place?
For the Q&A, it's absolutely essential. We want to
guys, for real, how do I get in touch with Modern Day Debates to get on the deal? Last time, I'm a fucking idiot. I haven't really looked into this, but I clicked on one of the videos. It had a link for joining, and I tried to sign up, but then when I was signing up for it, it was like setting me up to go on this live thing. And I was like, I'm not flying out to wherever this is in Vegas or something. I was like, I'm not flying out anywhere. I just want to do a Zoom deal.
Ask you to get to your question as fast as possible, and no double questions. No, I've got to. With that, I'm also even going to hold the microphone just to be sure. With that, thank you very much, Rachel.
Okay, so since this is going to be disingenuously framed as Andrew loves Epstein now, I just want to say many of you were very happy about a lot of Owen's points on Epstein, and I am too, and Andrew did make clear we don't think he's good. We don't think pedophilia is good. Given that, Since there are 30 to 40,000 girls 15 and under each year getting married in Iran, and there are 2.3 million girls and women living in Iran right now who were married before they turned 15, and this was not the case before this regime took over. There were 18 and up marriage laws prior to 1979. If we can get rid of this regime and the regime change eliminates this child marriage in the millions, would that be worth it to you? All of you who are upset about the Epstein files, would that be something that you would support?
Well, I'd have to know what the worth it payoff is. No, I'm inclined to say no too.
It's tempting to say that if that were the outcome, guys, I might say, like, you know what? I give Trump props for doing that. Guys, I'll be straight up. That's a good question. I got to give her credit for that. That's a damn good question. But I'm about there. I'm about there at saying, yeah, but, listen, there's certain factors that you can't just brush under the table by saying, we're stopping the chomos. Guys, if we would have proceeded with a little more caution and not just been, jumping the gun, no pun intended, based on some other country's actions, you know which one I'm referring to, the other Middle East country that's not majority Muslim, we may have not bombed a school and killed a bunch of little girls, right? Because the problem with that was that we were working off of old intelligence, okay? Because the last word on the street that the fucking idiots in the administration had and in the military were that school was a military base. It used to be a military base, right? So they went off bad intel, old intel, and bombed and killed a bunch of kids. And when we're doing sloppy stuff like that, and the reason for the timing, you're doing this, you're performing it at that time with the little intel that you have based on some other country that we're allies with. That is a problem. And you can't just go, oh, well, we stopped some 15-year-olds from getting married too early. It's like, do you get why that's they don't cancel each other out?
I'm inclined to say no too, because Iran is not my country. We've been in the Middle East for decades, for my entire life.
So we only care about pedophilia when it's here. We don't care about 2.3 million.
I do read all the comments, by the way, Maddie P. Only a few get highlighted. Where did it go? I lost it anyway. Oh, here we go. I just got confirmation that Steve sees almost every single comment. Yes, almost. DMS penis tip touched mine, and since then I've had financial luck. There's no telling what you'll get with that, guys. I appreciate that endorsement. It's basically like an advertisement. But yeah, it's a wild card. Going tip to tip with me, baby.
Children being married off to old men in Iran.
I care about fixing my country first, and I feel that our presence in the Middle East has not resulted in anything positive.
So then at least be honest that it's not about pedophilia. You do not care about pedophilia whatsoever. You're just ass mad.
Well, if you want to change Iran, I'm sure that they'll take you over there. You can go over there and fight the regime change war of the administration if you care so much about it.
The point is,
no, I didn't. No.
The point is consistency. If the entirety of the consistency is, if Trump isn't actively going after pedophiles, he's supporting pedophiles.
He's never mentioned it in Iran.
See, guys, and this is why I mentioned this earlier, because it's a false dichotomy. This is just a fake comparison to say that the allegations of abuses of power, and again, guys, I get it. They're doing child marriages, arranged marriages, all kinds of stuff that we do not agree with over here in America. Okay, I get that, but it's a completely different thing. It's not cool. It's not something I endorse, but that's not the same as the allegations made in them files. And we know which ones I'm talking about.
I mean, make the point. If that is the case, why does he need to mention a thing that's known? But anyway, if it is the case that it's not consistent, hey, man, if Trump isn't actively going after what I think is a U.S. pedophile ring that I can't even prove exists, then he's supporting pedophiles. But over in Iran, where you literally see him blowing them up, where's the consistency there, man?
He blew up 200 school children. Nobody has mentioned fighting pedophilia as part of this war. It's a regime change war for Israel to get control of the Middle East. That's what this is all about.
Thank you. Good. Based response.
And so, no, I don't support that.
Are the Iranians? Is it
Iranians bad? Iranians bad.
Is it institutional to the? Is it institutional? Is it institutional to the Iranians under Sharia law that they're allowed to marry kids or not?
When every American has a
I'll tell you what. Answer the question.
barbecue pit and a pool, then we can go police the world.
Can you answer the question? Is it the case that institutionally Sharia allows you to marry children or not?
I'm not interested in Sharia. I don't want it in my.
Can you answer my question? Can you answer the question, Owen?
Yes, Sharia is bad. I don't like Sharia.
Yes. Okay. So then the idea that she has is in fact the case. She's talking about consistency. If Trump is covering for pedophiles by not arresting who you think are pedophiles with no evidence, then you're supporting pedophiles by not letting him kill them in Iran.
It's different. It's my country versus Iran. Okay. I live in America. I want to fix America. If you want to fix Iran, go to the Middle East. Nobody's stopping you.
It's not about fixing Iran. It's about the consistency of your logical position, which is
He cares about the white kids.
So it's not about fixing Iran, but that's the entire basis of your
not a logical position to say, oh, I'll oppose it in this one hand, and if Trump doesn't do that, he's supporting it. But on the other hand, if I take us away from killing them in Iran, that's not him supporting pedophilia. It's bizarre.
You want to go one more time?
No, I'm good.
Oh, you got it.
Now you're gonna. So wouldn't being successful on at least your primary promise of a thing be considered success?
No.
Okay.
If I hit one home run in a 10-inning game and we lose, that's not a success.
So is it? Yeah. Is it the case though that Trump has been hugely successful when it comes to mass migration? He has been successful in that arena, and that was one of his #1 promises.
I said yes. I said that's been a success. That's one of if there are 10 issues.
But that's all negated by a 7-week war.
It's a separate issue, and he's failed.
All right. First, Andrew Wilson. I first learned about the Orthodox Church from you and my family.
Bro, he said it's all undone by a 7-day war, right, buddy? Right. No, we've been through, guys. I don't want to be a broken record. We've been through all of it. It's not our fault that Trump makes promises that are they're like exclusive promises. They both can't simultaneously be done, but he promised them all. That's not our fault. Don't let Andrew Wilson convince you that it's our fault that Trump can't get rid of Mexicans and bring prices down like he said he would do.
Family and I were just baptized into the church this past Christmas. Christ is risen. Second, Owen, you've made a lot of comments about prosecutions and reducing taxes, all while neglecting the fact that these require two other branches of government working with Trump. The judiciary branch has consistently blocked him and almost every single move he's made, and it's had to go to the Supreme Court I don't know how many times. Meanwhile, Congress, no thanks to Republicans in Congress, by the way, have dragged their feet on almost every single issue. So why are you putting all the responsibility on Trump when we've got two other branches of government?
Well, Trump appointed the Attorney General, and she failed him. So he did that. He appointed that. So
it's not the judiciary, dude.
So I don't know what.
He's asking about the judiciary of radical judges, which have blocked Trump every chance they get. It was so bad, in fact, that the Supreme Court finally had to step in and say, "Look, sorry, California, you can't set immigration policy for the rest of the country."
Do you believe these judges are corrupt?
Many of them, yes.
So then why don't we do something about corruption?
Because in this case, corruption is a matter of spectrum between political ideology. Democrats believe that they're doing something which is well within the purview of federal judges to do. And it was within the purview to do until that was recently constitutionally lifted by the Supreme Court, who said federal judges in California can't anymore say, hey, Texas, this is going to be the new standard for immigration law. They were blocking Texas immigration law in radical courts in California, dude. He's been hamstrung at every level by the judiciary. 100% that's true. The Supreme Court, which he appointed, he's had massive victories there.
Well, not according to him recently, but I just find it amazing that the Biden administration can make thousands of prosecutions and arrests within months, but this administration can't do anything about Epstein clients or about the deep state.
Thousands of arrests of who?
Myself in January 6th.
Yeah, so they were able to utilize the power of the media to paint all of you guys as being violent extremist insurrectionists in order to get the public on their side. In this particular case, not only Democrats, but on your side, people have weaponized the media instead to paint Trump out as though he's part of some pedophilic satanic elite, thus getting the one thing he always had in his teeth was the media. And you guys have done everything you can to take that away through this obfuscation of Epstein and the Epstein files. And we have way bigger fish to fry in domestic policy for sure. And you still don't even have any evidence of any of those claims, which is wild.
This is for Owen. So if Trump,
I guess Donald Trump shouldn't have campaigned on that. Good point, Andrew Wilson.
Could only do one thing that would make you change your mind, would you rather him act more on the e-files or where we're currently at with Iran? Which one's a bigger issue for you?
I would say probably bring the troops home, generally speaking. Bring them all home. And I think you win the midterms if you do that. I think you save face with everything. If you come out tomorrow and you say we're done in the Middle East and we're bringing all of our troops home, I think you sweep the midterms.
Nope. Not happening. MAGA's fucked. Republicans are fucked.
This is mainly for both of y'all. I just want to ask, how can we get our economy to rebound after the negative effects of the tariffs, especially on American manufacturing workers? I myself actually work at an industrial plant that produces grinding wheels for brakes. And our business, we had to increase prices a lot because costs of raw materials went up a lot because it was harder to import them because all the chromium and manganese comes from China. Sure. So I'm wondering, what is y'all's stance on how we could get the economy back?
Lieutenant Governor.
No, dude, it's the Mexicans' fault. We got rid of so many Mexicans that your prices went up, bro. It's because Trump's doing such a good job.
Governor Jay Collins didn't just wear the uniform. He lived the mission. A Green Beret who lost his
Fuck me, a 15-second unskippable ad.
leg fighting terrorists. Now he's running
I hate streaming.
for governor, making sure we stay the free state of Florida. Because for Jay Collins, the mission never ends.
This pod will
He likes handicapped people. I'm sold.
clean your retainer at the touch of a button. No more brushing or chemicals. Outdated cleaning methods have dominated.
Who the fuck is this ad for? Why does YouTube think that I have a retainer? I ain't going to no fucking dentist. The fuck? I don't even use fluoride toothpaste. What the fuck? You fucking idiots.
Dominated our routines for far.
Get the prices back down.
Well, I was a big fan and still am of tariffs. What the tariffs were used for, people get it wrong all the time. They think that it was just willy-nilly. It wasn't. What happens is if you have the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, so this means that these are tax-free imports and exports. So if Canada imports a bunch of stuff from China who we have a 25% tariff on and then just labels it Canada, don't they avoid any of our tariffs, the Chinese? Yes. So what that is it's closing back doors by putting tariffs on westernized nations. And there's no possible way, by the way, for you to raise revenue in the United States. You only have two ways to do it: taxes or tariffs. So Harris's idea was that she was going to get rid of the corporate tax breaks, and that was going to drastically increase prices because it has to. Trump's idea was that he was going to fight a tariff war with potential future enemies and people who are adversaries with us on the global stage now. Well, you pick your poison. Which one would you want to see?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I think Andrew and I would probably agree with most these issues. I'm a little concerned about that you talk about your company specifically is so reliant on China. This is something, whether it's Trump or the next president or Biden, all of our presidents have been put into a deep ditch because our Congress has sold us out to mostly West Asia, China. That's why everything is made over there. So now we're basically reliant. These minerals you're talking about, rare earth minerals, we're basically reliant. Pharmaceuticals, we're extremely reliant. And that's because Congress for the last 20, 30 years has completely sold us out.
Through bribes and kickbacks, by the way.
And so we're screwed on that deal. I would say I support tariffs too. I would agree with Andrew that I support tariffs. The problem that the president has, and he did get screwed, I think, by the Supreme Court on this deal.
He did.
But the problem that you have is we have so many corporate taxes, we have so many regulations. It's like you're already so deep in the hole. You talk about your company. What I'd like for President Trump to do, since the tariffs look like they're not going to work now, I'd like to see him get corporate tax rates as low as possible. I'd like to see him. Remember when he came in the first administration, he did that big display and he cut the red tape and was getting rid of all this regulation. I think that's the best plan right now. I think we just have to get rid of as much regulation as possible, get rid of the corporate tax rates as much as possible. And that is one that you can mostly blame on the Democrats, but the Republicans went along.
Well, Trump extended his tax cuts and is going to continue to the extension of tax cuts. Not only that, he does want to get them lower. When he's talking about regulation, especially as we dive into this, you have to remember a couple things. The first thing is that he did get screwed on the tariffs. Okay, the best thing on planet Earth would have been for him to continue to raise revenue through tariffs. That way you can lower taxes. But how are you going to raise revenue, man? How are you going to raise revenue without tax increases or tariffs? You can't do it.
Can I make a suggestion, actually? What I'd like to see is I'd like a policy that if you're going to come here and work, whatever money you're going to send overseas, we're going to tax that at least 50%.
Yeah, remittances.
Honestly, I tax it at 80%.
But remittances will do hardly anything. That's the problem.
But, but it might not change much financially, Andrew, but people will stop doing it. They'll either stop coming here or they're going to stop sending the money home because we're just going to keep it.
People would still work in the United States. Illegal immigrants would still come in here even if you had a 10% tax on remittances because it's still way more money than they're going to be.
Then I go 80%.
Yeah, you're never going to get 80% through. And that's not the thing Trump can unilaterally do. Again, you have to have both houses. In this case, at least Congress would have to act on that. So I love the idea.
We had Congress for a minute. Now.
Wait, could you say that?
All right, guys. So go check out the rest of that. I recommend. I'm going to listen to the rest of this Q&A. I recommend you guys go do it too. And for realsies, go give them their click over on Modern Day Debate. Go watch it over there. And be subscribed to that channel for real. They're goated. I gotta get out of here, guys. I gotta make some dinner and get ready for bed. No turning back. I closed out all the tabs except for one. The one with the chat on it. Lovers, friends. Is this a new person? I think Adam Locke. How about the Socialist Democrats Party's rhetoric and the lies that are getting people killed every day? Soft on crime policies that are getting people killed every day. What about them? Yeah. No, it's bad to let someone who's a rapist and a murderer back out onto the street. I agree. I voted for Trump, by the way. This person's already gone. They definitely came in here, left this comment, and then left. But just for the record, I voted for Trump, okay? So did a lot of people that are being critical of him. So bringing up the Democrats is just really not, it's not going to work anymore. That used to, look, guys, things have changed. MAGA, you're going to have to catch up, okay? Things have changed. It's not just like crazy Democrats that are critiquing. Oh, no, he's still in here. Okay, well, cool. Well, I'm glad you stuck around. I thought I've had that a couple times tonight. When I try to actually respond to somebody, they leave by the time I get around to it. Well, thanks for checking out the stream. Yeah, no, dude, I voted for Trump. I agree that the Democrats are doing a bunch of crazy shit. I'm more of a centrist now after, look, it's been a long road. Leading up to the last election, I was just very concerned about Trump's relationship with a certain country, and my concerns seem to have materialized. But I was just too worried about that fucking pilled up drunk bitch Kamala Harris. The thought of her running this country is enough to make me want to end it all. So I voted how I voted, and I wish I would have just stayed home. Honestly, wish I would have just not voted, just so I, at least in some metaphorical way, would not have blood on my hands, even though my tax dollars are paying for bombs that are killing kids. But anyway, you're saying I'm not saying Republicans are better, just less inflammatory. Dude, I don't know. It's really, we could go over this, talk more about this another night. You know, we're probably going to be debating or reviewing some debate tomorrow, another one. I normally don't do 2 debate reviews in a week, but if the debate I'm thinking happened today, we're going to review it tomorrow, and I think it involves Destiny. I'm not sure, so I have to double check. But I'm sure Destiny will bring this topic up of which side is more inflammatory, and I think it'd be interesting to have that conversation tomorrow. I really don't. I got to get out of here now. It's way past my bedtime, figuratively speaking. All right. Yeah, guys, thank you for hanging with me. Thanks for checking out the stream. Unfortunately, Adam, I appreciate that, dude. I really do. Thanks for hanging with us. Yeah, guys, I'll be back on tomorrow. Should be around the normal time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be on after Scott Starbird, our one of our mods here. He'll be streaming before me at 6:15, 6:30-ish p.m. Eastern time. And then we've got Alex Stein coming up in about 45 minutes on the Real America's Voice channel. So that's your evening lineup. And then don't forget also _fat_pig does his afternoon show some days, so go check that out. It's around like 3:30 p.m. Eastern time that he starts. So yeah, lovers. Yeah, we'll keep it going tomorrow with likely, guys, unless there's some crazy breaking news I got to cover, we'll probably do another debate review deal and get into that nonsense. But yeah, guys, thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Mwah.